Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. It is current year.
2016.
Yes.
To BBY.
Can you believe it is current year?
BBY.
The future.
14 BBY. Darth Vader gets his mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm getting at? Do you know?
First off,
sorta.
anyone who's not a Star Wars nerd does not know what BBY is. Letting everyone know. Anyone who's not.
It stands for Before Battle of Yavin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It
definitely
stands
does.
for baby, and 14 baby is far
That's what
too young.
Yeah,
That's
I was
far
gonna
too
say.
young.
I was imagining it as 14 babies. So
14 baby.
No. It has a Star Wars nerd thing, just so you're aware.
I spent the majority of yesterday, I think, reading on Wikipedia about all of the, I think the legend stuff, the legacy stuff or whatever, about like the new galactic empire and all that kind of stuff, and the invasion of the Vong and all that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Look, despite it not existing anymore, I think legacy stuff is still pretty dope. And
When did they declare it non-canon?
Pretty much as soon as they announced episode 7,
2 years
right?
ago? Yeah.
Who decided? What, did Disney do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Disney sat down with Lucas and they were really like, here's the deal. This is what's in, this is what's out. Literally, John, the only things in are the Clone Wars cartoon, or animation, the Rebels animation, the movies, and then the new books that are released and new comics. Other than that, everything else is out. Even though they like pick and chose some things to keep, like they kept some things here and there, all the rest of it is like non-canon. So
Was it canon before?
yeah. I mean, Lucas was like,
so.
yeah, sure, all right. Lucas had a thing where he said to writers and creators and everything that was like, you can do anything 40 years before the first movies, and I'm sorry, you can do anything in like there's a 40-year period. So after episode 6, after Return of the Jedi, you can do anything you want 40 years after that. Or up to 40 years after that, but at the 40-year mark, you can't do anything because that's where I want to continue my story. So he gave them like a 40-year period after Return of the Jedi, and then he gave them a period before episode 1, and then he's like, oh, and if you want to do anything a couple thousand years ago, just go ahead and do that. So he had a whole crazy thing that he's like, just do whatever, it's yours.
So the Old Republic is canon, right?
Actually,
no.
What?
So this is not necessarily true now, Jesse. So there was an official book that came out, and it was talking about. I'm trying to do this by avoiding spoilers. It was talking about Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and I'm not done yet. Hold on.
I know what you're going to say. All right.
Because are we going to talk about Darth Revan? Yeah.
It's
People were saying Revan.
Yeah, basically Kylo Ren's lightsaber, the crystal comes from a key moment in the Revan storyline.
Yes, which indicates that is canon.
But the events in the game are not canon. So it's a weird, like, Revan as a character is canon. The events of the storyline involving Revan are not canon. It's fucking crazy.
So
it makes no sense.
I guess the real answer is, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Yeah, mostly.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, if a cartoon version of the real world can be canon to a real live-action world, then because the Clone Wars is a cartoon,
Yes.
so
Very much so.
You know, then I guess the Old Republic can canon in my mind.
I'm sorry, I can't believe that Spider-Mole is canon. It's like, well, you made that canon of all things. You made Spider-Mole canon.
Oh, let me look it up here on my other space computer. I don't know.
John blasts off into light speed. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, what if I just my head blows up scanner stuff? Wait, what is it called? Spider what?
Well, it's not called Spider-Mole literally. The canon is now.
Spider-Mole. Yeah.
What is the name of this thing?
The canon is that Darth Maul lives after episode 1 and constructs himself a set of robotic spider legs.
Yes, that is totally the canon. The canon is
canon.
Darth Maul, who gets cut in half, lives, and is in the Clone Wars series. So
he's in Clone Wars?
Yeah, very much so.
What the fuck? There's a canon that Darth Maul lives?
Yeah, that is the canon.
Now you get it, John. There's the rage. Oh, yeah.
He's basically like a Dark Souls monster.
I see him
terrible. It's terrible.
What the fuck? That is the worst thing I've ever seen, but they cut out fucking Old Republic, the game with a bunch of well thought out storylines.
They cut out Shadows of the Empire, which is maybe the best like expanded universe thing ever.
Shadows of the Empire is the most fun I ever had getting motion sick and throwing.
That's also true.
That game is like runs at like 5 frames per second. It's very cinematic by today's standards.
Absolutely. PlayStation 4 could barely handle that.
You got nothing on the cinematography of that. So I never maybe I didn't play the game at the right time, but I go back and it's just like it's not good to me.
There are some games that are just don't stay well. It's like instead of playing Shadows of the Empire, just play Jedi Knight. You know, that is better. Just
Jedi Knight. What's that for?
PC mostly.
Not like I did a fucking series on it.
I was gonna say, pretty sure you mentioned Jedi Knight multiple times during that series.
I never mentioned Jedi Knight.
I think you did in your big, and here's all the other ones list, which took about 30 seconds.
No, it wasn't. I see what you've done here, and I'm detecting sarcasm. Jedi Knight? No, I didn't talk about this one. Maybe it was in the montage. I'm not sure.
It was.
Oh,
it was in the montage. Yeah, you never actually said anything about it.
I think I must have just in there. I didn't play that one.
Yeah.
For the guy in chat who's like, what about Kyle Katarn? He's out. The Rogue One movie is that storyline.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Rogue One, unless he's in that movie, which would be awesome, he's not in the lore anymore.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Kyle. You were a badass.
Indeed. Welcome to the Corruptional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our special guest today, whose head is 3 times larger than ours, it would seem, as needs to zoom out just a little bit, is Mr. JonTron. Welcome back to the show after a good 1.5 years absence, I believe.
Has it been that long?
I think it has, yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
I hope at least a couple of you out there don't know who I am, so I can ruin my reputation, and it won't affect you in any sort of meaningful way. Wow, that wasn't even a joke. So you don't have to give me a pity laugh, Dodge.
There was like a single tear there.
Yeah.
Don't ruin my reputation.
I want to say something inflammatory. That's what I'm here for, really.
That shouldn't be a problem. I'm pretty sure we did that last time. We could talk about fucking the Star Wars Monopoly set and the bullshit that's going on around that. There's something.
How is there really something to talk about around the Star Wars Monopoly?
There annoyingly is. Like, at least if Facebook is to be believed, because apparently it's been a really fucking slow news year.
Well, wait. What was the? I mean, you've already talked about it, but I'm just filling me in. What's wrong with it?
Well, Rey's not in it, so sexism.
Rey's not in it. Why would she be not? Wait, hold on. Is it Star Wars Force Awakens or Star Wars all together?
It's just all together.
Oh, then who gives a shit?
Exactly. There's only four characters in it.
Yeah.
And your mic's now gone too low, John, which is a bit weird.
Mine has gone too low.
What mic are you using exactly?
Huh?
Are you using
what?
Hello?
I'm sorry. Am I too low right now?
My mic gone too?
Stop it, Dodger.
Test.
Guys.
Hold on. Is this better? I mean, oh, hey, this is probably whack. Is this better?
I mean, it is right now, but you're right up in.
No, I think I just had the automatic up and down thing on.
All right. Let
me know if it goes back down.
All right, I'll let you know. Yeah, but fuck talking about that. Let's talk about video games. Fuck. Video games are better. Monopoly's a shit game. Everybody knows this. If you buy Monopoly, you are awful.
Fact.
Yeah.
You really are. You're encouraging them to keep making Monopoly, and that's not okay.
Honestly, I think Monopoly, like themed Monopolies, are really cool. I just like them. They seem like a nice collectible because then you could pull out. Although if you had like an Oculus Rift, which is pre-orders open tomorrow.
Yes, they do. I'll be putting my pre-order down for that. Yes, I'm actually pre-ordering it because they're limited and they're hardware, and I actually want it early. So one of the only legitimate reasons to do so.
Can I just say real quick about the future of VR, which I've been an enthusiast of for many.
Indeed, you forced me to play a motion sickness-inducing Sonic at your apartment in New York.
Oh, you played the Sonic at my
Yes,
apartment.
you put it on my face, and I felt so sick.
But did you not? Obviously, it wasn't calibrated. I mean,
not at all.
But I mean, you could see some potential for a future, right? No, yes, no.
Yeah,
maybe
of course.
So.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
I've got Gear VR now, and I see the potential with that. It's great.
Right. Well, anyways, I used some sort of I forgot what it's called, but some sort of software emulation type shit to make Sonic Generations go into VR, and that's what he's talking about. But what I was going to say about VR is just like the applications for right now it's kind of dicey for like first-person shooters and stuff like that that'll make you motion sick. But the application for tabletop type stuff, like where you and a bunch of people are sitting in a room and you have like a real life, like what is it, like Warhammer? Isn't that what that is? Like or like
a real life Warhammer.
Well, no, I mean, isn't Warhammer supposed to some sort of tabletop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the figures move
real
and
life
shit.
Warhammer.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, the figures move. I mean, like StarCraft, whatever. And like you could play like real-time strategy.
I should probably
like,
not do that. I'll put my eyes out.
That will be amazing. That's cool. I guess it's from Warhammer. I don't know that series. But anyways, like I can't wait for that. It's gonna be so.
You know what's ironic is that you are accidentally right. Like, the whole conflating StarCraft with Warhammer.
Yeah.
There was actually a lawsuit very early on in StarCraft's lifespan, and actually with Warhammer as well. The games were far too similar.
Oh well, I mean that's always happened, right? I mean.
Yeah, but I mean Blizzard did rip off Warhammer pretty badly in a lot of those games. But hey,
I suppose also Westwood Studios, like they were the first to really do that, like with Command and Conquer Red Alert and Red Alert.
Yeah,
right?
both Red Alert and Red Alert are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly like Red Alert. I don't know about you.
No. I said Command and Conquer and Red Alert were the first real-time strategy games, and then Blizzard took from that for Orcs and Humans. What was the first one?
Well, technically it was Herzog's Vi, but before that it was Dune.
The classic.
Dune 2,
right.
John.
Right.
Dune 2.
Right.
Careful now.
No, you're right. Dune 2.
Uh-huh. By Westwood.
That is Westwood, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Anyways. Westwood was like They actually just put it on the Game Awards, a big like Westwood documentary.
It was really good, that. That was actually the best part of the Game Awards,
That
other than
was my-
Jeff Keighley burning Konami. It was the best part of that show.
That was my absolute favorite part of the show, was the Westwood documentary, because they just was very well done. It wasn't ham-fisted.
Yeah, it was good.
You did love. I mean, you had to love the Konami bomb though. That was pretty great.
Oh, man. I enjoyed that a great deal.
The Game Awards. I mean, I just really don't understand the angle there. I feel like it's so Doritos-y still. I wish they just treated it with a little more respect, and it would be a perfect show.
The problem is that the cost that it takes to produce a show like that, they have to sell the fuck out and basically make the show pointless.
Well, if they sold out and still didn't do weird categories, then maybe I would. I don't know. It feels like a Teen Choice Awards to me still, less
Yes.
like an Oscars. And I think gaming is a medium that's good enough now where we don't need this fucking Teen Choice Awards shit. I think eventually the Game Awards will become like the Oscars eventually one day. It's like
But how good is Star Wars Battlefront, though?
Hey, John, have you played Star Wars Battlefront?
I have this toy for you.
I am going to cry because I received this toy.
Yeah,
I will
Star Wars-
cry.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront. Is it? I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but that's how I see it.
I'm fairly sure most people do. I don't think that's a very unpopular opinion. That was not a...
Okay, well, I don't know. What?
You do a good job of avoiding much social media bullshit, so I think you've managed to avoid a lot of the discussion around that.
Yeah, I don't really go on social media much
It's
anymore.
probably for the best. It's terrible. But
yeah, social media is just like, I think like a lot of people in the last few years have learned that it's sort of not a great forum for discussion.
for anything, yeah. It's good for shouting in the void. You want people to go to a website,
That's how I
social
use
media
it.
was great.
Yeah,
I
it's
shouted
good.
to the void.
It's really great for saying like, wow, Star Wars is great, but not much more.
Yeah.
Or like share. It's good for like sharing like your videos that you make, like
Yes.
as a producer, but like not
That
so
is
much
the only
like.
reason. The only reason.
But Battlefront. You guys play Battlefront?
Yeah,
Did you play it?
I did. It's shit.
not good.
Oh,
It's
actually,
garbage.
I saw your video on it. TV. I saw it. My one of my editors was, or my editor, whatever. He was showing me your video on it, and because we were wondering if it really was true about like the whole not featured enough scenario. Is it true that it's really like behind a skill wall or whatever you call it, where like other people have better guns and all that?
It was originally, yes. It was the problem is that if you bought the digital collector's edition or whatever the fuck, the $10 thing, they gave you the DL44, which on paper is the best gun in the game, and they gave you it at rank 1, and everyone else had to wait till like rank 30. So at least in the first couple of weeks, it was like, hey, I paid $10 more than you, and I can shoot harder than you can, which was
Right.
pretty awful.
I liked it for what I played. I own it, but I haven't played too much of it. But I guess I haven't really gotten to the point where I understand the complaints. But
Well, apparently that's the problem for people who are still playing it is 14 million people or something crazy like that own it.
That is,
no one
that's
plays
not
it.
official figures, by the way. That was speculation by a futures firm, I believe, that Michael Pachter's involved in. We don't have any official sales figures. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if a lot of people bought that game.
The case remains, though, a ton of people own it. No one is, like, the amount of people playing it is minimal.
There's a stats website for this, actually. They track, like, Battlefield and Battlefront and shit. Currently, online, on PC, there are 16,000 concurrent, which is not that high. Xbox One has 56,000, PlayStation 4 has 113,000. So a total of 186,000 concurrent players. Obviously,
wow, that low for PC?
Right?
Yeah. People on PC just said, fuck you, because honestly, if you want to play a shooter on PC, you've got way more choices than you do on anything else, right?
Yeah, Counter-Strike is what I play, generally.
Yeah, and Counter-Strike currently right now has...
Oh, you can literally check right now?
Yes, you can. 609,000 concurrent players.
Whoa! That's crazy.
So Counter-Strike is not only whipping the shit out of Battlefront on PC, it's got 4 times the concurrent players of Battlefront everywhere. Ever.
Well, it's got a 10-year legacy, so sort of hard to... Oh, you know what game that just came out that is brilliant, and I think deserves more attention? It seemed to get swept under the rug, but I've been looking forward to it, is Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
That game is amazing, amazing, amazing. It's how games should be made, I think.
If only the online shit worked and wasn't laggy as hell.
Yeah, shit's a little broken right now. We've actually had to take a couple of days off with our regular group because we were just sick of the servers fucking up. But, like, we love that game. We need them to fix those servers.
Yeah, the only problem I have with it is the stupid renown system. I just want the people. I paid for it. What the fuck?
It doesn't really take that long to get them, though. Like...
I want them! I play Ash 100 times, and I'm sick of it.
If you played Ash 100 times, you really should have renown for everything else now.
Yeah, John.
I played it for 2 days straight, and I only have 3 guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you played any of the situations, the single player? Because you get a shitload of renown from that.
No, I'm playing the multiplayer with my friends. With my friends.
You should drop into the situations. Like, spend an hour doing a couple of situations, and you'll have enough renown for way more characters.
All right, I'll get into a couple situations.
Oh, you're good at getting into situations. That I know. When you go into the club, you are known as the situation. So I'm told.
The situation.
Just put on some orange spray tan. You are the situation now.
This mother freaking guy.
Oh, of course, Polygon gave Siege a 6 out of 10. They don't know what they're talking about.
No, I went to Metacritic and it's got like a yellow score, and I'm like, really? But y'all gave like...
Polygon probably knocked it down. Like, there was a really bad review of it by like Hardcore Gamer magazine or something like that. And like, you are...
Yes.
Yeah, sure, you are hardcore.
Yeah.
They were going on about the lack of depth in a multiplayer game that has a shit ton of depth.
It's amazing depth.
It's got loads of it. Kidding me?
I think it's like, honestly, it's probably the most fun I've had with that kind of game since Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. No, but seriously, I think they did amazing. And I just think it's so weird that all these like kind of random, like, not random, overhyped games get these great scores, but like this game that's so original and new.
And innovative, yeah.
What happened? I can't even believe it, actually. Maybe because it's Rainbow Six? I don't know.
I don't know. It's strange that I think a lot of critics are like, oh god, we want innovation, please give us innovation. And then they get given innovation and they shit on it. I mean...
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just a fantastic game. Like, I mean, just for the innovation alone. But it's not even that. The sound design is good. The graphics are out of this world. The map design is great.
I fucking love the sound design of that game. It's so good. It's like, I remember playing FPS a long time ago and being able to hear people's footsteps, and that like is now a key component of the game. Like, because that's how you know where people are. And there's even like little bits of detail, like if they're on a wooden floor above you, dust falls down from that floor as they're walking on it. Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
I like how like if they do a satchel breach or something like that in the distance, you hear like a brrr.
Boom,
It's
like big bassy thud. Yeah, incidentally, fuck Metacritic. All these critics are like, oh god, we want innovation. Assassin's Creed Syndicate has a higher Metacritic rating than fucking Rainbow Six Siege does on PS4.
Seriously.
Yeah, you want innovation. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Metacritic, like, personally, like, I like Dragon Age Inquisition, and that game has, like, a negative 6 billion on Metacritic for some reason.
That's from user scores, though. Like, you can't pay attention to user scores.
I guess you're talking about critical reviews, then?
Yeah, mostly critical reviews.
Yeah,
Like, because I
maybe
think
so.
I don't know what Rainbow Six Siege is like in terms of its user reviews, because I imagine it's going to be like split right down the middle. Because there's people that leave reviews like, "Oh, it's a shitty $60 multiplayer only fucking Ubisoft game, so I'm going to rate it a 0, worst game ever."
Yeah.
Am I right? And like those reviews aren't worth anything. But then again, the 10s aren't worth anything either. You know, it's
Yeah. I guess you're right.
it's really hard to figure out what's good and what isn't. Like, I think that Steam maybe does it a bit better, where they just let you say good or bad. Like, they don't give you a scoring
true.
system. They just said, I liked it or I didn't like it.
The number scale's flawed. It needs to be thumbs up, thumbs down like YouTube is. Which
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, there's a reason YouTube eliminated all of the other scores, because the only scores people used were 5 and 1.
Exactly.
They're
Actually,
pointless.
yeah, actually, there was this one interesting thing I saw where it could also be listed as a bar graph where it shows like the spikes. And it's kind of hard to explain, but that was even a better system than what they do, which is just a static number, which means people are trying to get the score up or down.
Yeah, they're trying to deliberately manipulate it, so
Yeah.
they rate it the lowest possible because they feel like they have to hurt the overall score, which of course invalidates the score they gave because they didn't give an honest one. I mean, I do think that Steam's a lot better. Like, for the most part, I think that Steam's overall, like, 95% of people like this game is a more useful kind of Rotten Tomatoes metric. Because that's basically how Rotten Tomatoes works, right? You basically say you like the movie or you didn't like it.
Yeah, and then it aggregates into a percentage based on that. Yeah. But also, it's kind of weird because sometimes they go into the review and, like, discern whether or not the reviewer liked it, and it's sort of non-scientific as well. Like, because I think some reviewers don't even give a score. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, some reviewers don't. I know Metacritic is really bad about interpreting people's scores. Like, if you use a 5-star system, they interpret it on a 100 scale, which means that 5 stars equals 100%, which is not the same thing at all.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. 5 stars means more so like, well, I guess it's the same thing, is it not?
I don't know. I think if you used a 100% scale and you gave something 100%, then I would expect that game is perfect. But if you if you only used 5 numbers and you gave a 5, I wouldn't assume that you meant the game was perfect, because then you'd never give a 5-star to anything, right?
I guess, yeah, because the 5-star system is kind of iconic. I don't know. It's hard to say. Rating scales are just sort of weird.
Yes, yeah, they are
laughing at
pointless and
depth
stupid.
of conversation.
No, I'm laughing at, I saw somebody who said, I can't see John's mouth, and then I looked over to look at the feed, and it was literally like...
He's nice and close again, yeah.
Like that much of your face. It was really funny.
Is that better?
There you go, that's better, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought you could see the whole...
You do like to lean in. It's a very sensual experience, you know? It's very personal.
He wants to be intimate with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can respect that, definitely.
I'm trying to get the blow dart submerged out of water look, you know?
Yeah, you getting there. You definitely got
what? Oh, okay.
Come on! You know what I'm talking about.
So like this, you pop up and...
Blow dart.
There you go, he knows.
With Eminem.
I got you.
He gets it.
M&M's suck in this country. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why do you make M&M's...
complain about every sweet candy
because you're bad at it! Like, as a country,
fucking...
you need to take responsibility for this.
Why don't you go eat a McMillan Nugget or whatever?
McMillan Nuggets.
Whatever the hell over there.
What?
Come on.
Yeah,
Go eat a McMillan Nugget.
Yeah.
Nugget.
Why don't you go eat a Birmingham truffle or whatever the shit you eat, huh?
Birmingham truffle. Oh God, I think you're gonna ask for a prostitute for that. Actually, it's like, give me a Birmingham truffle. That'll be 50 quid, love, for Birmingham truffle.
In the next couple years, I'm probably gonna be living in England, and then hopefully, God willing, I won't ever have to hear somebody be like, "All of your chocolate sucks," ever again. Again. It'll turn into them giving me sweeties and being like, aren't these good? And I can say, yes, very good. And then the conversation will die. And then I just don't have to hear it again.
It'll
be like, I bet you don't have stuff like this back home. You'll get a lot of that.
You get a lot of that, yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
You'll probably start hearing things like, everything sucks and it's rainy. More too, right?
No.
How is that your English accent? Please.
British accent, love. Oh, grab.
Mrs. Doubtfire, are you?
I don't think we use the word "sucks" really all that much.
God.
Like, not colloquially now.
Speaking of, can I Can I officially co-optional style tell everybody my announcement? Since
Yes,
we're talking about England.
you may.
So my life right now is a series of extremes. I'm sad because I have a terrible, terrible throat infection that might be tonsillitis, but it's to balance out the awesomeness of my life because I'm engaged. Sam and I are engaged. I'm very happy. And to those of you who wanted to see the ring, you probably won't be able to see it because it's a webcam, but there it is. Yay!
That sure
And I'm
looks
very
like a
happy.
ring.
It
Yeah,
is. It is a
definitely-
ring.
It's definitely a ring.
It is a ring.
He's following standard procedure. Everything
Yeah.
everything checks out.
Yep, it all happened. It all worked.
I mean, based on the way they talk about chocolate, I would expect it like a Manchester Mound, or I couldn't get
A
that.
Manchester Mound.
Gave her a Manchester Mound. Nottingham Nougat. I'm with you, John.
Nottingham
I get
New-
it.
There we go. A Yorkshire.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. I have to admit, Hershey.
A Yorkshire taffy?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, seriously. But I have to
Thank
say, you're right. Hershey's chocolate's not as good as but don't buy Hershey's.
Hershey's awful. Yeah, don't buy Hershey's. Someone in chat's like,
Um,
I got a 5 pound thing. Wow, words.
I think you might be buying the wrong chocolate, and
Yeah,
'cause
that's bad.
They have higher end chocolate. Hershey's doesn't
They
really
do.
make it, or at least
Yes,
or they do, but the higher end stuff is the stuff like the Lindt chocolate. Those are really good.
Lint. Yes, Lindit.
whatever.
Wow, Lint.
I
Yes,
don't know how
it
to
is
say
Lint.
it. Lindt.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Lint. As a chocolate snob, Lint is like the lower end of decent.
Holy shit, dude! Can I have some of the higher end chocolate that you're talking about?
Yes.
It's pure cocaine.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you where to go to get fucking the best chocolate I've ever eaten? I will tell you.
I'm just gonna stop that.
That is the Lint
Do-
people
do you want-
calling like John.
Rude.
John,
Do
don't
you
listen
want
to
to?
him.
Do you want to know?
So unprofessional.
What
I
the
can't
fuck?
even believe.
The Lint-
He's
the Lint
late
people
and
are
then he
like,
leaves his
"John,
phone on. My
listen.
God.
God. As I
No, it's-
nonchalantly go to
no,
check my phone, like, God, so unprofessional.
No.
My lord, wow.
I
John,
didn't.
you're so
I didn't.
unprofessional.
I didn't leave the phone on. It goes through my fucking Mac.
This is what you get for using a Mac.
Yeah.
I'm a PC user. Don't even. I say this as I'm on a MacBook using a Mac Pro on an iPhone. Oh my God.
We can tell. We can tell.
Hold on. I am a PC user. I don't consider myself a Mac user. I just have some Macs.
There's one behind
I-
you. We can see it. You don't need to prove it to us. We see
Where?
one behind you.
That's a fucking ladder. That's not a Mac, dude.
It's like,
That's not a Mac, it's a ladder.
Microsoft is taken to the next level.
That's a PC
Windows.
right there.
Windows ladder.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
didn't follow.
Mac.
Introducing the eye ladder.
I think
The eye ladder.
Revolutionary. Step
I think
up,
the number of
that's-
steps you take.
step down, step sideways.
Step up with eye ladder. But that's not all.
You like to step up today?
Dodger's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was also drinking out of cat foot.
I am. Wasn't that what you were saying, though, Jesse? Weren't you saying that there's a PC behind him?
Yes, that's what I thought
Yeah.
that was. I thought that thing right there was a PC.
Oh, I thought you said there's a Mac behind you. We can see it.
No, I
No,
said there's
because
a
you were
PC
trying to
behind
convince
you.
us that you
believe
use a
you.
PC, and so Jesse was like,
No,
"There's
we
one right
don't
behind you.
believe
Get
you.
it." And
No,
then it
this
took into
thing
a
over
big
here-
old ling-lingle.
Listen,
Oh,
they finally got it
yeah.
right. No, they finally got it right because this thing that looks like a trash can. It is a fucking trash can. It's fucking worthless.
Why do you even have it then?
Okay, here's the thing. My PC had some problems, and I needed to do editing immediately. I didn't have time to go order a specialty PC. I went to the Mac store and thought everyone says Macs are really smooth. I never edited on one. It comes right.
Don't
It
believe
comes
those
out the box
people.
with all. It comes out the box with everything you need. So, and it does work, but it is nowhere near as fast as it needs to be for the price point.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
I mean, they're okay, but I prefer Windows myself.
Yes. But yeah, back on the subject of awesome chocolate. If you want awesome chocolate, and I'm going to crash this website because I do every fucking time I talk about it, NormanLoveConfections.com. Go there.
Sorry, what?
NormanLoveConfections.com. Look at how beautiful these fucking chocolates are, and then consider that they taste even better than that. Also, you can get a
Norman
chocolate shoe.
Love confections. My goodness. Could they have come up
Artistry
with-
and fine gourmet.
Oh, they're
Holy
fucking-
shit.
Little baskets and shit.
They
Oh,
are
even-
amazing.
They sell a chocolate shoe.
They do sell a chocolate shoe. Someone got me another box of those. I get a box of those like every 3 months or whatever, and they don't last very long in this house, but they are amazing. They are the best fucking chocolates that exist.
Signature
Do
chocolate.
they have like super bitter chocolate?
Yeah. They've
That's
got
the only chocolate I like.
And it's
Really?
down.
It's
And
down.
we
Yeah,
killed it.
website's dead.
And we killed it.
This happens
my
every
God,
time. This
I
is
knew
why I was like, you got to go quickly before the chat crashes it. 'Cause
There
they
is
always
a
do.
housewife in Wisconsin somewhere losing her shit right now. I can't get my chocolates.
My chocolates!
Why? That's the Wisconsin accent, right?
fucking chocolates!
Philip, check the fucking internet. Jesus.
Did you unplug the router? Wes, I need to get my chocolates.
Reset the router. I gotta get my chocolates.
Wow, when will this end?
I don't know.
Never. This is a bit, John. It doesn't end.
This bit has literally gone on for years now,
Oh,
so
is it?
never.
I
Oh,
didn't know
dear.
that.
Website's dead. That's 3 websites we killed today already. All right, let's
Yep.
talk about the games that we have been playing this week. Why don't we start with Dodger? Because I know you've been playing a bunch of stuff on stream with Strippin.
Yeah, we finally so both of us had kept ourselves pure from Until Dawn spoilers. We knew nothing about Until Dawn. We had seen like screen caps, so we knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
But we didn't know anything about the story, nothing about the characters, nothing about anything, right? So when I was going to be going over there for like 2 weeks, we were like, oh, we should definitely do some streams together. We should definitely play Until Dawn because neither of us had ever played it, and everyone was really jazzed to watch us play it.
Everyone is a relative term. I
Well,
wasn't.
you have been pissed off ever since we played it because apparently everyone is complaining to you that we're bad at the game for whatever reason. Like, Jesse,
As the
Dodger
arbiter
and
of
Sam are
Until
so
Dawn,
bad at
Yes.
Until Dawn. Thoughts?
as a member of the Grand Council of Until Dawn, I was highly disappointed in your performance, but you know.
We did like pretty okay until a point, and then I started to panic every time there was a QTE. Like it would be like Sam would do a QTE and bork it, and then I'd do it and nail it. And we were like, all right, cool. And then I would mess one up, and then he'd like do it instead, and he'd nail it. And we were like, okay, we're like a pretty good team. We're doing all right. And then we had our first death, and it was very sad because it was literally like one button. Like, if we had just nailed one button of the QTE, it would have been fine. But no, and we were like, all right, let's bounce back. And we did all right for a while. And then spoilers, we got real bad at the end. But
Yeah.
there
There were not many people alive by the end of that game.
were not. There were not. But
I love that final
fortunately-
decision you made as well that also murdered somebody. That was great.
Oh my god, it was bad. We're gonna be putting anybody who wants to watch it. We're gonna be putting up the whole thing on YouTube. But yeah, it was really fun. That was a really fun game to play with another person, and I'm sure Jesse felt the same way. Like playing it with
I
a group
played
was
it with Jen
interesting.
as well, and it was more fun with another person there, which
For
is
sure,
weird because it's a
you're,
very
like,
single-player
panicking
game.
together.
Yes.
It's a horror movie. Despite what it is as a game, it's a horror movie. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and horror movies are always more fun when you watch with other people.
somebody else, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really fun. And it was also, everybody was expecting me to freak out and be scared playing it, but it wasn't. I don't
It's
think
not
that
a
it was
scary
like a
game.
scary game.
No, it's not.
It was like a stressful game,
Yeah,
right? It was a
stressful as
stressful
shit,
game.
yeah.
set
I
in,
don't
a
like
horror
actual
movie
horror
world.
games. Like real horror
but-
games, I don't like them. But Until Dawn is barely a horror game. Like Until Dawn is horror in the way that Scream is horror. As in, it's not. It's
Yeah.
a slasher thing with a little bit of supernatural shit in it, and that's all it is.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. I'm really glad that we played that. I highly recommend it to people. I think that it's really fun if you like games where you get to make choices and you want to see those choices really matter. Like Until Dawn, I think, is a really good example of that. There were lots of things at the end. There were a lot of like the butterflies and the list of butterflies, like things that you can affect in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were a decent number, well, not a ton of them, but there were like 3 of them that we never even experienced because the people who were involved in them were dead.
Straight
Whoops.
up died?
Yeah, they died. So, yeah. So it was really cool, and it makes me really want to play it again.
The
Like
problem
really bad.
as much as I love that game and think it was like my sleeper hit of the year, the one thing that going back and playing through it all over again and doing everything right, like having gone through and murdered everyone and also gone through and saved everyone at this point,
Yeah.
having done all those things, it hit me that 90% of that game is false choice. Like, it's all you think something's gonna happen, but nothing results of those choices. And so there's only like 5 or 6 major key moments in the game that can screw everything up. Other than that, except for QTEs, it's hard to fuck that game up. Like, you really have to be awful to screw that game up. Like, you have to be one of the worst gamers ever to be bad at that game. Right, Dodger?
Did we just come to an impasse? I feel like someone.
Yeah, we need to hammer the X button to get out of the impasse.
Help. Yeah, I really enjoyed it though. And more than like wanting it to affect the game differently, there were characters that I was like, I wonder if this character had stayed alive longer, if I would have enjoyed them or liked them more.
I hated, I think, almost everybody in that game. Maybe everybody. I don't think I liked a single person in that game.
Oh, not even Sam. I liked Sam a lot.
Everyone's like, Sam, you gotta save Sam! And people like got legitimately upset. Like, what
He's
wasn't
the cheerleader. Save the cheerleader.
save the cheerleader, save the world? Quite literally, yeah. It's. I mean, it wasn't there an issue of some of PewDiePie's fans getting genuinely mad at him because he let Sam die or whatever, and he had to actually make a blog post about it because it was so serious. Like, oh no, my virtual waifu! Ah!
Sam's character is actually really interesting in that she's the one who has the most things that can happen to her for not being in the game for half the damn game. She has a lot of things that can happen to her that affect the game for the rest of the time that you play as her right at the very beginning, which I think is really cool. Like the whole thing with animals and stuff. Spoiler, the animals actually, the whole don't kill animals thing actually plays into the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the point that you made about false choice, though, I think is going to be a problem in games for a long time. Like, it's very, very difficult to create a game which has a lot of genuine branching choices because you are having to create, every time you make a branching choice, and this is only if you branch once, you're having to make double the content. You know, and it's going to be a bit that half of the people don't even see. And developers are not into doing that.
I never understand when people criticize a game for not having choice because none of them really have choice. Like, it's not possible to create that.
Well, John, have you played Until Dawn yet, John? You should, by the way.
No. What, is it good?
It's really fun, yeah. But the thing in Until Dawn is the very opening cutscene is like, this is a game about choice. And so, like, literally, it's like everything you do is choice.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's such a, like, well, Mass Effect had it, and that's, like, the game I think that did it best ever in games. And even that was, like people are so mad about the ending, but it's like, what did you want them to do? Create, like, 18 games? Like, I don't know.
I think the problem is expectation. Like, they built up that series, and Mass Effect is one of the biggest examples of games. They start here, and then they widen out, and then they end here. Like, games are wide in the middle, and they have to narrow at the end, because there's not so much you can really do. You know, there are certain roles for certain characters, and if one character is dead, they replace him with somebody else, because someone's got to fill that role, and the main problem with the ending of Mass Effect 3 that a lot of people had was they felt that nothing they did up to that point made any difference. They introduced a brand new character 5 minutes before the end that you'd never interacted with before ever, and then you had to make an arbitrary choice based on no information at all. Yeah. That was the problem with it. And like people just wanted the things that they'd done in the last 50 or 60 hours to have had some impact on the ending. Know what you mean. And
that's true. Mass Effect 3 was like, it was a little...
Yeah. I mean, I thought Mass Effect 2's ending was great. I thought the Suicide Mission was really well put together. Bit arbitrary in places, certainly. I'll admit that. But I thought it was a great ending.
Mass Effect 2 is like my favorite game of all time, practically.
I do like that game a lot.
It's the Strikes Back, no question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's tough because it's already hard to make a game that has a really intriguing plot and a good story arc. Like, that's already something that eludes most people.
Most games don't do it, yeah.
So to say, all right, we're going to have an interesting story arc, plot, catalyst, like all of those elements of a really good story, but also include choice, I think is really, really difficult.
Yes.
Like something nearly impossible, where every ending feels like it had a good, swell, and then,
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to, this is the case in like a lot of the Fallout games, they have a lot of endings, like, hey, you got 300 endings, but a lot of those endings are just like, we're going to show you little cutscenes that are kind of all glued together. It's like, oh, here's what happened here. Here's what happened here. Here's a bit of text that said, oh, this thing that you did 30 hours ago, it had this impact. And that was kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard. It costs a lot of money, too.
Yeah, it's definitely like, especially with a team that big, making all the decisions.
Yeah, I mean, when you're making a game that's like premium, like Until Dawn, where you have good quality voice actors, for the most part, good quality scripts, for the most part, and good quality graphics running on a toaster, then you can't, every extra piece of content that you end up making that your regular player doesn't see in a playthrough is going to be viewed by a lot of developers as wasted money. And your budget's only so big. But I think Until Dawn did a decent job of it. I think it's a better David Cage game than David Cage has ever made.
Yes, it's the best David Cage game there ever was.
Yeah, and I say this as a staunch
Cage.
defender of Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
I think it's much better than Heavy Rain. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know
Will
what
it
game?
be better than Detroit though? TB.
I would imagine it probably will be.
You know what game that is just so like everybody? You guys probably like it. The Witcher 3. Why does everybody like that game so much? I just
Because it's great.
What don't you like about it?
Amazing game.
I just didn't understand the hype on that one. I just don't get it. I think it's okay. It's pretty good. Like I don't understand any of the Witchers. Like
Well,
you
just have to be.
It's
an RPG. You just have to be into. It's like some RPGs people dig and some they don't. It's just it is.
Well, let me put it to you this. I'll put it this way. I felt like every mission was the same. Like you just use the Witcher sense and you like walk around and I get dizzy. Like I don't know. Looking at the fucking ground for a red speck every fucking mission just got me a soft wiener. I don't know.
Got John a soft wiener.
You heard
Like
it
I
here.
prefer. I don't know. Like I just wanted to be under. I want to understand from somebody who likes the game what's so great about it.
The story is great. The combat's really cool. I like the sense of like exploration. I dig the hunting for stuff. I think it's like a cooler version of what they did in Batman, for example, in the Arkham games. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those games that I dig. I love it tremendously. So.
I guess maybe I just wasn't in the right mood or something. Also, I guess maybe the setting I didn't like as much. I mean, like I there's a lot of stuff I respected about the game. Like the graphics were really good, and like the facial graphics were like out of this world. They were really good, but like I don't know. I just maybe it got too hyped up for me or something like that. Because people were saying like it's the best game. No game has ever come close, and I was just like. And I was just like, I would rather just be playing Ocarina of Time or something. Like, I don't know. I guess the games have just gotten so big. They're just so big now that I'm like, where the fuck do I go? What do I do? What?
Yeah, you're just a.
That's how
you're
I
just
feel
a.
with most open world games. I think with Witcher 3, because I'm the same way. Like Skyrim stressed me out. Right? Like games that have like a huge open world. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself. But with Witcher 3, for me, what was engaging is that I loved the characters and the story. So if you don't find the characters and the story interesting, there's going to be nothing propelling you to continue to, engage with the world and find cool quests and stuff.
I guess. I mean, I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, there's so much going on, and so like it definitely goes someplace, but it's a huge game. Like it's a mass. Like this is like a 120-hour time sink game. And if you're saying that you love Ocarina of Time and stuff like that, then it's a vastly different RPG than what you love. Like,
they just don't
RPGs
make.
You love
they don't
are
make
different.
games like that anymore. They just don't make them. I mean, are there any games like Ocarina of Time that you could think of that came out recently, besides Ori and the Blind Forest, which doesn't count? And that game's good.
There aren't a lot of RPGs have gone.
You're talking about sort of
style.
very kind of open world-esque adventure games that aren't really RPGs per se. When you're talking
I
about
guess
Ocarina of Time.
just
I wouldn't say
focus
that's
games.
Ocarina of
Do you
Time.
think
I
Ocarina
focus
of Time doesn't count as an RPG?
I would say that it eschews almost all of the elements of a regular RPG.
I think
No.
it's just a adventure RPG. That's all.
Yeah.
I'd say it's
definitely-
a 3D adventure game in the classic sense of the word. I wouldn't call it an
3D
RPG.
action adventure.
Yeah.
It's
That's what
not
I call
a
it.
it's well, I'll say this. I don't understand why all these modern RPG conventions are so lauded. I just don't necessarily think many of the systems are fun. Maybe that's just me.
What kind of systems?
Like crafting and like inventory
I
management.
mean, I would definitely want to disagree with you on that. That to me for Fallout 4 was a huge killer. I hated that.
You will agree with me, you're saying?
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't like collection crafting, and like it makes sense in like an MMO because it's economy based, but like single player, I don't really understand these concepts. And I like stats, and I like weapons with stats on them, and like things you could put into the weapons to make them better. That's okay. But like, I don't know why. Like a game like Ocarina of Time, it is an RPG. It just gets rid of the annoying parts. So I don't know why. Why is that considered like worse? I just don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Did
understand.
you play Darksiders, John?
I've heard that that's like Zelda. I've never played. I've always wanted
I think Darksiders would be right up your alley because it sounds like everything that you like about Zelda is in Darksiders and Darksiders 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta try. So are they good? Are they good?
Yeah,
games?
they're very good.
They're pretty good.
Very good.
Oh hell yeah! I'll just play that then.
Yeah,
I played a bit of it.
The only form of crafting that pisses me off, and everybody who watches me knows this, is crafting weapons. Hate that shit. I hate it so much. I hate that like my ability to gauge whether or not the things that I'm putting into a weapon are going to like help me live or die. Like I would much rather just pick up a weapon and look at the stats and be like, I want this, instead of be like, oh God, I picked up all this shit and I hope that I can figure out how to make a good gun. Like that's not fun for me.
That's the one thing Fallout 4 is terrible at. You have to literally pick up fucking everything to just maybe have a chance of creating something out of it. But you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'll need, so I gotta pick up everything. It's like, oh no.
I guess I just feel like the world is already full of tedious shit. Why do I need it in my video game? Like fucking.
I could not agree more with that.
I mean, okay, like Counter-Strike. I like games like that. I go into the game, everything's there, made for me by the designers of the game, and I just use it, and I can get better because I practice the game. I don't have to read a fucking manual to find out. Like even like Dark Souls, like it was like, oh, you didn't get that resist poison armor. I'm like, what the fuck? What time do I have to fucking find out what kind of resist armor I need? I don't get that. I don't get that.
Sorry, Dodger. Go ahead.
This might be unpopular opinion. I don't know. I feel like the Dark Souls games have most of the Zelda elements. I utilize very differently.
I think you're kind of right. Like the thing about like, hey, you didn't get this resist armor or whatever, is that Dark Souls is going to let you win without it anyway if you're good enough.
Yeah.
Like
Dark
Dark
Souls
Souls
doesn't play that game with nothing on your body.
Yeah, I don't think Dark Souls really has gear checks per se. You know.
No, I actually really do like Dark Souls. I stopped in Blighttown because there was like poison and I didn't have poison resist, and it just was like, okay.
Well, Blighttown's just shitty in every way. Like I don't blame you for stopping in Blighttown.
My point is, it's like whenever that happens in a game, I'm just like, but I guess it happens in like games are just hard to design. I guess you have to invest the time if you want to beat it. But nowadays, it just seems so. Not like it's worth as much as it was before because you could just go on YouTube and like watch the end if you can't beat it or something. I don't know what it is.
You know, you made an interesting point there, and I wonder if that's actually affected design in some way because you've obviously noticed and got really pissed off over the last few years about how games are introducing what's basically a shitload of grinding for materials. Yeah, crafting a lot of open world quests and unlocks. You know, I wonder how much of that is down to the fact that we now live in kind of in a society where secrets are impossible. Like puzzle solutions can be found online in 2 seconds flat. Yeah. And I wonder, in order to like make sure that people don't blitz through a game and then complain it was too short because they looked up all the fucking solutions online, that instead now we have grinding as a way to so just time sinks in order to get through that stuff.
Grinding has always been in RPGs, though.
Yeah, that's an RPG trope that's existed forever.
I don't think it's been in all RPGs at all.
No, it's a different kind of. If you're talking about JRPG grinding, usually that's just for XP. Like, this is more like things are just fucking convoluted. Like, you have to read a piece of paper that leads you to a thing.
But I mean, it existed in like go back to my favorite game in the world, Final Fantasy VI. There's still you have to grind every single one of the fucking espers if you want to get
Final
everyone.
Fantasy games are notorious for having lots
and
of
that's
grinding.
one of my favorite games
Yeah,
of all
but you
time.
can completely beat that game without doing any of those things. That's like saying, oh, you've got to do a shitload of stuff to beat fucking Ruby and Emerald Weapon. It's like, yes,
most of these games we're
most
talking
people
about,
don't.
you can do it without grinding. Like you don't need to do.
No,
the grind.
yeah, but a lot of these games, like, that's not really true. Like, I mean, if you look at stuff like Dragon Age Inquisition, you know, there's a shitload of fucking open worldy fetchy bullshit quests that you have to do in order to progress the storyline.
Point, you have so many points that you don't
That's the
ever
worst
need to
part
go
of
to
that
it again.
game.
Like,
It
you can
is.
just
That's
plow
why I
through the
hated
story.
it. I mean, at a certain point, yes, but I think the problem is the amount that you have to do becomes an issue.
But you can't use Dragon Age Inquisition because Dragon Age Inquisition is not a great game. Like
Well, no,
compared
it's
to
not.
some of the other ones that we're talking about, not necessarily the greatest game.
I think it's so hilarious that I happen to like the one game that everybody hated on, and also has the problems that I described. I guess Dragon Age, just something about it I liked, but I don't know. Like I don't understand the like they don't make games like a Mario Galaxy anymore that are just really simple, and I don't know why. It just seems like missed opportunity to me. Maybe
What is
people
that
are just
game with
bored
the
by that.
hats? Oh my
Manhattan
god!
Time.
Yeah, that's a game that I feel like if you like Mario Galaxy, you probably love. If that,
Well, it's not out yet.
yeah, but I'm saying
I
like
did
that sounds like something.
I did a voice in that game.
There you go. See, now you have to love it. By law,
Actually,
you have to love it.
Ukulele's coming out. Also, Lucky's Tale's coming out with the Oculus Rift. I should give that a try.
Yep.
It comes with it.
I think a lot of it is down to just what AAA games prioritize on it in any given year, like, and that
Yeah.
a lot of these elements end up in just every AAA game, and we go through phases. You know, right now we're still in the open world phase where every AAA game has to be open world in some way.
I
It's like
just can't wait till it's over.
I can't wait till it's over either. I hate it. Like, there's a reason
Thank God,
why
I thought I
fucking.
was the only one.
No, you're not. There's a reason why I fucking loved Wolfenstein: The New Order in 2014.
Yeah, that game was great.
Yeah, because it was just, oh, we've designed really good levels and we've paced this game out properly, and you play through a campaign that's constantly interesting, and then you finish it. As opposed to
Dude.
fucking Far Cry, where we didn't design shit, we just gave you a giant sandbox, go do stuff involving picking herbs for like 40 hours.
Dude.
Yes,
I would
Dodger.
say that there's also like two ways to look at this though. There's the people who play games all the fucking time, whether it's for a living or not, like we do, where we appreciate being able to sit down, start a game, and have like a linear, well done story, finish a game and be like, that was a great experience, and then move on to the next game
Yes.
seamlessly, right? Like we really appreciate that, and we really value good storytelling that way. There are lots of people out there who are like, all right, I'm going to use this money that I've set aside for a really good game on one game, and I want it to like,
I want as much out of it as possible.
Yeah, I want a lot out of it. And
I
if
get
you
that.
buy
Totally
a
get that.
game like Far Cry or like Witcher 3, you're going to be like, man, I have so much to get through. Like, this was so worth the money for me. Such a good
Yeah.
experience.
Well, I
so,
mean, that's like taking a movie that was 2.5 hours long and then just putting a fucking dancing penguin for like 10 hours of it. Like, it's like, that didn't extend the movie. That didn't extend the movie. It just made it way
that's
longer.
anything like that.
I think it's hard to compare the two because, you know, one is a non-interactive medium, one's an interactive medium. In games, you have to do something in order to experience. Like, it's like I won't play bad games, but I'll watch bad movies because I don't have to put any effort into watching a bad movie. But I do have to put an effort into playing a bad game. So I won't, you know. It's, you know, the way that you consume the content is fundamentally different. And for a lot of people, this shitty repetitive content is still fun enough. Like, it may not be top tier level fun, but they're still being entertained to some degree.
Yeah.
And that to them is enough. To me, that's not enough. And if I get too much of that, I will stop playing a game.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, Dodger's point is completely valid because I mean, people have limited budgets. Games are expensive. You know, you want a good amount of time out of that game. For me, I want quality time out of my game. You know, I will pay $20 for a 2-hour game if that 2 hours is 2 hours of quality.
I just don't know why games are so expensive still. It doesn't make much sense. Like,
Well, the
movies are
sheer
like-
amount of it's just the size of the teams. Like, if you look at how much games like Destiny and shit cost to make, like the teams were huge. The amount of
but-
money they spent on it was enormous. Salaries are not even as high as they should be, really. You know.
Movies are the same though, and I guess maybe game sales are less than film sales. I don't know.
I mean, it can be. It's just, I think it's the way that movies are experienced. Like, the movie model is, it comes out in cinemas and you pay money to see it once. Like, in a place that you have to go out of your way to go to. Like, for games, when I buy this game, I can fully expect to be able to play this game 5 years later and it be maybe completely different because someone's modded it or there's some other crazy shit. Like, the value proposition is nuts. I mean, really, the value proposition for going to see a movie is actually kind of shitty, if you think about it.
Yeah, also, like the like inside of like the actual purchasing of a theater, like the theater purchasing a movie in order to show it, then the way they get their money back isn't through the tickets, through everything else that
it's
they
through
sell
concessions.
you.
Yeah,
so they
don't
keep
make
the tickets
much
relatively
money.
the same in order to get you in, and then the concession prices are jacked the hell up.
Yeah,
so
true.
that's where they make their money back to. So it's all like a weird scammy
Well, this
system.
this is currently happening with games as well. You can argue that the reason that DLC prices are the way they are right now is because no one is going to accept the price of games going up. And as a result, they've got to jack up the concessions. And in the case of concessions, they're like microtransactions for skins, season passes, DLC practices, subscriptions, premium plans, etc., etc. You know, those are their popcorn, as it were, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't know.
I mean, games just cost a lot of money to make.
It's okay. It's okay. You've finally become an old man. Welcome to the club, John. Welcome.
What do you mean?
Nice to have you here.
What do you mean?
Video games these days, I don't understand.
You finally
No.
Boy,
No.
dear.
No, it's not. No.
Welcome,
It's not that.
John, it's nice to have you. I'm glad you're with me on this one.
No, it's not that. I understand that a lot of it is nostalgia blindness and there's a lot of perspective, but I do think that I don't understand why linear story has taken such a downturn. Like games like God of War, Bayonetta 2 even, that's like the only game I could think like that came out.
Bayonetta 2 is great.
And that
Fucking
game's
love
good.
Bayonetta 2.
I'm just saying, it's not like open world games should go away. Skyrim's great, but like what the fuck? Doesn't need to be every single game. It's just
This always
like I said-
happens though. Like I mean, open world games being big is the same as MOBA games suddenly being big, and you know MMOs
that,
being big a few
MMORPGs,
years
yeah.
ago. Like it's just there are swells of a certain game type where everyone says, "Oh, this is what people want" because they love that game, right?
You're right. I guess I
And
just really
then-
don't like this fad.
Yeah, we're also in a big franchise spin right now because a lot of the big open world games that are out are sequels to games that came out when open worlds first started to be big. So like we're working with that as well.
Yeah, and main game development cycles are as long as they are, and people keep on like, oh, Assassin's Creed comes out every year, COD comes out every year. Yeah, COD comes out every year because there's 3 studios rotating, you know?
Yeah.
Making a COD game in a year is not really possible. They rotate studios out to do it. Assassin's Creed does not use the same team for every game. You know, Dark Souls even doesn't use the same team for every game, for God's sake. Making games takes a long time, and as a result, is very expensive. So you are going to run into those situations where the games industry is like behind. I mean, you remember all of the big MMO glut that came out, the big budget MMOs that all fell flat on their face? Because they were chasing a market that was 3 years old by the time those games came out. You know, they were dealing with market realities that were already out of date. So when Old Republic comes out, having spent the most money on pretty much every video game ever, expecting to be a WoW-like success, they might have had that game come out 3 years before that, but at that time, it would never have happened. And that's why WildStar failed. WildStar's like, oh yeah, everyone wants the vanilla style of WoW raiding. No, actually, they maybe wanted that in 2008, 9 maybe, but they don't want it now. You know, that people have moved on.
And this goes like the games that you were talking about, John, like Ocarina, like that time period, the games that you loved, that was also a fad at that time. So you had like, you know, Mario and that
When everything went
Zooey
3D and
Jack
became the
Daxter
3D adventure game.
and Sly Cooper, like yeah, all those games.
I thought about that.
Yeah. That is now a genre that's not really produced to that extent. You know, that the action adventure genre, I suppose, is now more of the Tomb Raiders and the Uncharteds. And to some degree, The Last of Us, which all have fucking crafting, and they're all like highly cinematic, and they have vehicle sections and stuff like that. There are just less games that are made like that at the moment, and games like Yooka-Laylee, as you mentioned, are kind of trying to revive that genre. And we've seen successful revivals. Like I think over the past few years, I think we've seen the CRPG, that being like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, etc.
Pillars of Eternity. That was a great game.
Yes.
I haven't
Great.
played it. I haven't played it all, but like it's just really cool.
Well, playing it all it's a long game, so it would take
Is
a
it
long time
long?
to get. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it could be like 200 hours, I think, at the extent.
What?
It's crazy long, but
The amount of stuff you can do. Yeah.
But I think it's because like Kickstarter basically revived that genre, right? Because you had Wasteland 2 come out, which was fucking great. Pillars came out, which was great. Divinity Original Sin came out, which was great. Shadowrun came out, which was great. You know, and those are like 4 big games in a genre that was before that kind of dead.
Here's what I'm trying to say. It is not the fad thing. It's the fact that they literally don't make games like anymore. Like there are tons of games like Castlevania. That was one of my favorite games. They just don't make it anymore. Or now that they do, it's like fucking open world style or something. Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
Lords of Shadow 2 was
Shadow.
pretty
That's
shitty,
not a
yeah.
Castlevania game.
Yeah,
Like the
wasn't
2D
the last
Castlevania-
kind of real Castlevania game on DS, like Dawn
Yeah,
of Sorrow
yeah.
or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The last one was Portrait of Ruin, I think.
something like that.
Or no, Order of Ecclesia for
Alucard
DS.
or whatever his name is.
Or DS, and they made one called there was one on 3DS, but it sucked. It was like Lords of Shadow, and it was like ran at like 5 frames a second.
Oh yeah. The Lords of Shadow port was crap.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a port. It was like it was just a bad game. Anyways, my point is they just don't try to make any of these games, and there's a huge market for it. Like anything, like even if they made it once in a while, it's because big budgets never get a chance to touch it, so none come out. I don't know. It's just weird. I just think I miss games like Castlevania. I just want another one.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like you should play Axiom Verge.
No. I'm with you on missing games that I want. Look, I just want another good Final Fantasy game. That's my life. That's where I live. That's where I live.
Okay, when did it become so unpopular to make a game like Final Fantasy IX? That game was one of the best games I ever
Phenomenal.
I love 9 too. Yeah.
played.
9 is so unappreciated too.
The thing is, like, I'd make the argument that back then, games like Final Fantasy IX, etc., were the open world games of the time. Like, there were. You remember, I'm sure, a long time ago when people were writing, there are too many fucking JRPGs. Like, the people were like, this is ridiculous. There are way too many. Because Final Fantasy VII was so fucking successful, so everybody was like, oh shit, JRPGs have an audience in the West now. Let's put every one of them out
always
there.
happens, yeah.
Yeah, and then people got burned out on it. You know, and people are going to get burned out on open worlds as well. There's no doubt. They're already getting burned out on it. People get burned out on genres, and it goes through cycles as a result.
Well, here,
Kingdom
I'll
Hearts
just say
3,
this.
though.
Wait, let me just say this. Have any of you played Xenoblade Chronicles X?
No.
I haven't played it, and so I'm not qualified to speak on it, but I played Xenoblade 1.
But I'm going to.
I played Xenoblade 1, and it looks like pretty similar.
It was on Wii, right?
Yeah, it was on Wii.
Yeah.
That game is like just a giant open world planet with like monsters on it, and it's like, good luck. It's like, what? That's a game now? That passes for a game? I just don't understand this design philosophy.
I think the Persona games are a really good example of a
The
current
game is great.
JRPG.
That game is fucking amazing. Persona 4?
Yeah,
That's a
Persona
good
4
game.
Golden. That was good
Yes,
shit.
I love that game.
spent so
I
much
love-
time on my Vita, literally
You know
for that
what?
game.
I got the true
I'm gonna go
ending.
back.
I spent all the time getting the true ending.
I don't know how you
I-
did that, man.
It took a lot of work.
I gotta go back and play that. That's what I want to play. You just reminded me of what I want to play.
Well, Persona 5 is out in 2016.
I can't wait for Persona 5! Every trailer that comes out, I'm like,
I'm avoiding the trailers now because I don't want spoilers.
I know.
I don't want to know anything about that game going in. All I know is that may have the best looking aesthetic of any game ever fucking made, and
So
I am
love
very
it.
excited to play it.
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Fucking Persona. Persona's a weird example because Persona has very JRPG-like battle mechanics, but Persona is fundamentally different from a lot of those games. Like, the introduction of the social element to Persona is what made it stand out, you know? So I'm a huge fan of that. All over that.
I don't know.
Everyone's
break-
saying that Bloodstain is the game John should.
Yeah,
look at.
Bloodstained is the game by the guy who
Supposed to be,
made
like,
Castlevania.
spiritual successor of
Yeah.
Castlevania.
So the question is it going to be a good one, or is it going to be a Mighty Number 9? You know, is it going to actually, you know...
We won't know
disappoint
until
people?
it's out.
Wait, what happened?
I was so disappointed
happened?
by Mighty Number 9. Holy shit.
What happened with that game?
just-
I mean, it's still coming out. It just doesn't, like, I've played it several times at, like, events, and it's just, like, not, it's not good. It's not a good game.
It doesn't look like what they promised it would look like. It doesn't apparently feel like what they promised it would feel like as well, you know? I remember them seeing the first pieces of, like, here's an in-game render. I'm like, wow, that looks great. And then I saw the trailer, I'm like, This looks 5 years old, minimum, you know?
Wait, is that game out?
No, not yet.
No.
There's
The
been a
last
lot of
time I
footage
played
out
it
there.
was at E3 last year, and it was like it's not. I think everyone going in wanted like an awesome, betterish Mega Man game, and it's
Yes.
not that. Like
Yeah.
it's not that. It does not play like a Mega Man game.
It doesn't feel. I think if it just felt like a Mega Man game, it would have done wonders, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Everything's time trial based. Like there's a weird time system and things. It's like, oh no.
Mighty Number 9 should have been what Shovel Knight is. You know, Shovel Knight is a game that feels like an old school platformer in every way. And Mighty Number 9, my impression of it anyway, based on what I've seen, is it does not look like that. It looks like some crappy 2.5D side-scrolling platformer that was made by a random indie company. You know, it doesn't look like a Mega Man game. It doesn't feel like a Mega Man game. And the problem is they shilled it as a Mega Man game. That's the only reason it got funded. Because, like, this is the real Mega Man, guys. And it's not. It doesn't look like it is at all.
Yeah. It's filled with erotic violence.
Yeah,
Erotic violence. Oh, God. That's what I want my Mighty Number 9.
That's what I want my Mega Man games.
Absolutely. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the games that we have been playing this week. You are watching the Co-optional Podcast. Do not go anywhere. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just kind of gave up on the intro about halfway through. Yeah, okay. What have we been playing this week? John, what have you been playing this week? What's been going on?
Well,
the last few weeks.
Rainbow Six Siege, but also I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition because, well, I don't know. I just wanted to play a more recent game. Because, you know, anyways, it's pretty good. I think the power system is just silly. And I don't know. It's a good game, though. Like, I think, like, well, the environments are, like, the best out of any game I've played in, like, a really long time. I feel like I haven't enjoyed game environments that much since World of Warcraft. Like, I don't know. Do you feel the same way at all?
Yeah. I
like the game.
Well,
I know.
I don't know. I really
nobody likes that
Dragon
game.
Age Inquisition, but
I did not.
I don't know. I think there are things about the mechanics that sort of ruined it for me.
I think they did themselves a disservice by making it the opposite of, I would say, like, you know how we were talking about the choices in a game and it being like tiny and then big and like that. Like, in an RPG, it's usually story, giant open world. And this, it was like a little bit of story, massive open world, story. And so it's weird that they put such a massive area, the hinterlands at the very beginning. So you have so much just extra stuff to do that you don't get back to the main story.
Totally.
You don't get back to the main story till much later. Here's the thing: the main story, like all of it's really cool. I love the characters in the world. I think it's really engaging. The problem is, in between all of that, they put massive chunks of like, here's an entire place. You don't need to go there, but if you're Jesse, you'll go there anyway because fuck you. Like that's just
Well,
and it's somewhat optional, but yeah, go on.
The whole table thing, where like you always had to go back to your town to go to the war table.
Yeah, that was
figure
annoying.
out shit. That drove me crazy. I don't know.
And the fact that it affects things like you'll come across a bridge and you're like, oh, I guess I'll put down my flag. And it's like a war table mission open up. You're like, oh, okay. You go back to the war table. And it's like, now you've opened up the other half of this area. That you're like, oh, all right. So, yeah, I like the concept's cool. Like, you're using the Inquisition. Your soldiers in the Inquisition are doing things and going off to do things. But the fact that you have to keep going back and back and back and then wait 20 minutes or wait 3 hours, you're like, oh my god.
Well, those things weren't important. Those were just like, you mean like the where you had to wait for the guy to come back?
Well, there's a lot of times. There's one that I can think of off the top of my head where there's an area that has this dense, shitty, like death fog, and if you go in it, your characters die. But if you plant a flag and then go do the mission, the Inquisition sends people there to clear out the death fog, and then you can now go in there in order to get access to a dragon that if you kill gives you a badass staff. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you have to go through the process, and it feels very MMORPG-y. You're just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, you know what's funny? When I first got the game in 2014, I booted it up and I hated it to death. I really was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because I'm a big Mass Effect fan. But I went back just a couple weeks ago, and I don't know. I guess I just kind of enjoyed it. Maybe I was looking to enjoy something, and if it was better, I would have enjoyed it more. I think that is the case. Maybe I was just sick of hating on modern games, so I was like, let me just see if I can pretend to like this one. But there are a lot of things. I liked about it. But yeah, there's definitely. It's not a perfect game. Definitely not a perfect game. I feel like there's nothing to play right now that I can't think of anything to play. I guess I can go back and play an old game. Actually. Maybe you can tell me if this is a good idea or not. I've never played Warlords of Draenor. I was thinking of going and playing that. Is that worth it?
It is the exact same experience you'll have with all Warcraft, like WoW games, in that if you just focus on that leveling from, like, in this case, 90 to 100, that storyline and all the things that are happening in that is really good. It's a good experience. Every zone has, like, it ends with, like, amazing cinematics. There's really, like, it's a fun experience. And then, of course, like all WoW games, either you hit the level 100 cap and you're like, well, I'm done, or you keep playing and deal with all the, like, grinding bullshit that comes with being at cap in a game. But other than that, really, like, it's really fun. Yeah, Warlords is great.
I guess I'm looking for, like, some sort of, like, full experience that I haven't just, like, since, like, Mass Effect 2 kind of experience. It just hasn't been one for me for a long time.
I hear the new Star Wars expansion for the Old Republic, SWTOR.
I love SWTOR.
I hear the new one is basically less MMORPG, more old school Knights of the Old Republic style. Which to me, I'm like, yeah, I just need to find time to play it. But apparently it's supposed to be fucking awesome. So,
well, I've also heard they made a bunch of changes to it where you can literally hit max level by only playing the story missions now and avoiding all the side bullshit. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
I when I played the Old Republic, I remember actually really, really liking that game. I thought that game was cool. And I don't know why it got a lot of hate. I thought it was good. I don't know. I thought there was nothing wrong with that game.
What, the
it's
MMO?
Like what we talked about earlier. It came out in that whole, we need to make an MMORPG, and it came out just a little too late. And so it felt kind of old.
People hated on it, but it was like good game. It had voice acting. It had like... I just really, the environments were great. The sound effects were, I don't know, it was on point. I don't know. What was the big deal? Why did everybody
I think a lot of people wanted a real Knights of the Old Republic 3 and didn't want an MMO, so there was a lot of hate there. And it's, there was a lot of side bullshit in that game that really wasn't that good. I mean, especially considering that the game played like WoW, like to the point where literally a lot of the skills were carbon copies of World of Warcraft. So people were hoping for something different, and when they use the term WoW clone in some scenarios, true. It is. Literally. Yeah. Like, in the same way that Rift had a bunch of that shit as well.
And Rift definitely nailed the coffin shut on that the world wants vanilla WoW, because that's what Rift was, and nobody liked that. And people were like, oh god, this is awful. And it killed everyone who's like, we need to have a vanilla WoW server.
Thank God, because that was the constant discussion was, if they would just give us vanilla WoW again, it would be great.
Which it wouldn't, because vanilla WoW is actually awful. But
I'm going to be honest. I think vanilla WoW, not in actual practice because it's old and has a lot of non-quality of life bullshit. I'm not talking about that. Just the way the game used to be was much more compelling, I think. The new MMO format is just a little... pointless feeling to me. I don't understand. Like, I remember when you used to have to get a party and go into a dungeon to get the item. That was way better than, like, insta teleporting.
John, you should have been in WoW for the 10-year anniversary. It was legit the funny, because they made it so, oh god, what the hell's the name of the place with Ragnaros? Molten Core. They made it so Molten Core was available again at max level, where people would go and do it just like it was way back in vanilla.
Yeah.
And people who had joined after Wrath or during Wrath of the Lich King lost their minds. Like, why? No one could, because it's so old and so dysfunctional. There's like 12 bosses down there. It's super hard, unnecessarily long. Like, you don't get any loot. Like, everyone was so pissed, and they were like, here's your 10-year anniversary present. Enjoy that. And Ragnaros, after doing all that shit, Ragnaros dropped a pet that was... like 0.03% chance of dropping. So in order to do it, you have to go back every week and do it over again. And people lost it. Like, it was...
It's so funny.
It was so good. It was like, okay, this is why.
and maybe I'm just an old fuck, but I feel like the old World of Warcraft it could just be my perception, and I fully admit that. But I think like in the old game, it felt a bit more like you could live there, but now it feels like a bunch of portals to content.
Yes, so you're absolutely right. Difference.
And I think that they I don't know. That's just the game is not really I think the whole point of MMOs is supposed to be really unnecessarily hard, or else what's the point of it? That's the way I see it. I mean,
it was about grouping together, right? It was about it's so hard. I need you, Sephiroth X, and you, Killer Instinct, to come join me so that we can beat this thing that's too hard for us to beat alone.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like right now. All it is like flashy. I'm not there to see flashy colors and like nice environments. That's great, but it's not even about that. But obviously, like the combination of the two is where it would be good. And also like in the old, I mean, I guess the old, I've read lots of different like theories on why this is wrong or that's wrong. But like, I think that like, I guess in the past people knew less about the game, so there's more mystery. But I don't think it's that. I don't know.
Oh, like, I'm with you on this. I think the minute like Thoughtbot and those old data mining things existed, killed the mystique and the lore of the world, where now everyone knew where everything was. So if I found a staff, I could be like, oh yeah, no, I totally got that staff off that. And like, you could lie to people and like, I'm the only one in the world who has the staff, so fuck these people. I'm not going to tell them where I got it. And now it's like, you don't even need to ask. Like, oh, that looks cool. Google it. All right, so if I go here and wait for this, and it ruined the mystique of the world.
I guess it's up to you as the player to like not root it for yourself. Like it's always been that way with everything. Even like in the old days of like cheating on The Sims, Rosebud. Remember that one? Anyways,
yeah.
Like, I do understand
Rosebud all the time.
There is no cow level, man.
And there's no cow. Like it's always been in games, but I just feel like the design principles are a little strange now in World of Warcraft. I don't understand them. I just don't understand where they went with it. Because like it's like I feel like everybody can just get everything now. Like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
That's pretty much what it's designed for. Yeah, I mean they decided that they didn't want people being able to have content that other people couldn't. You know, they decided that apparently a subscription was all that was required in order to access everything. So they made everything else a lot easier to get access to. I know that lately they've now kind of stratified the difficulty levels, so there are various difficulty levels of content. But I remember it was around Wrath of the Lich King when they were starting to change that attitude. It used to be like, oh, you can't get into Black Temple? Tough shit.
Yeah, I like that philosophy because it motivates you. It's like
it's like
I don't know,
work
that's
for
a kick
it.
in the ass.
Yeah, you can get there if you work hard enough. And then with Wrath of the Lich King onwards, it was like, oh, we want everyone to be able to see the content. You know? And in order to do that, they compromised a lot of that content.
I just feel like, did you guys forget that when the game came out? Like when the game came out, I went, "What is this piece of shit? This game's stupid and it looks bad." Even back then, I feel like it was like, you know, it's like, guys, nobody's running the instances because they're fucking pretty. It's about the reward and the effort and the bigger picture. I just feel like they forgot about that. Like, it's not just fun to run through Wailing Caverns and push 2 on everything. That's not the point of the game. But that's that. I don't understand how they failed to see that. And maybe too long looking at the same shit. They feel like they have to change it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, the next one should be interesting. Legion should be interesting, where literally the reward is like, you get a different looking Doom Ham. Like, who knows what's going to happen? The next one is basically the most fan servicey, over the top, crazy ass fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know.
It could either be
Burning Crusade 2. Let's do it.
It could either be amazing or it could be garbage. I'm in. We'll find out.
Well, I'll tell you what. Oh yeah, go on.
Wouldn't you say that it's impossible for WoW at this point to ever have that feeling of mystique? Because people have been playing it for too long. Like, yes. I don't think that it's possible to attain that in WoW anymore.
Yeah, I think it's... And the fact is, I don't think it's possible in the traditional form of MMO anymore, because you go back to the Thoughtbot example, everything's going to data mine really fast. That information is going to be available online very quickly. And I think the way EverQuest Next is trying to solve it is through procedural generation.
Wait, is EverQuest Next still happening? Because every time I talk about it, people are like, it's not going to happen, okay?
It'll come out, you just don't know when. But their solution to that is that
super dead.
They want to make sure that, you know, the stuff that you discover wasn't there before. You know, that's why nobody knew it was there, because it wasn't there before. It was procedurally generated. You know, they want the idea of being able to get a pickaxe, start mining randomly in the middle of the fucking world, go into the fucking netherworld dungeon, and suddenly come across this thing that you've never seen before. You know, a very kind of Minecraft-esque sort of idea.
Yeah, but that's not compelling either.
Well, I mean, it is for a lot of people. Minecraft sold a shitload of copies, and there's a lot of survival games that have sold a lot of copies on that basis.
I mean, if they're able to pull it off where it's a unique interaction randomly generated, maybe, but that's going to be very hard.
Yes, I will agree with. It's going to be extremely
The thing that made EverQuest Next cool was the fact that it was like you were changing the world. That's what they sold it as originally. Like, you would, like, I'm going to dig a damn hole, and that hole would be like a permanent hole. Like
it wouldn't be a permanent hole. Like that's the thing. That's what
they changed. That's what they changed later. But like the original sales pitch was like, everything in this world you influence, and I was like, that's so fucking cool. And it would be I mean, clearly they had to change it because then everyone's experience would be different.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, it would take 5 minutes for the whole server to be raised to the ground and be full of holes. Like, that's the problem with something like that. But I mean, what they really want to do with EverQuest Next, which is interesting, is really bring cause and effect into it. And the idea of, if I mine down into that netherworld area, and I disturb a fucking legion of demons, and that legion of demons gets pissed off enough, it might come through that hole onto the surface and start causing trouble. It might go and attack a town and drive away the residents of a town. Then there are refugees. Then you encounter those refugees on your travels because of that. You know, that's the true holy grail, I think, is to have the systems interact with each other so that it's the chaos effect again. You know, the butterfly flaps its wings halfway around the world, causes the hurricane here. You know, if they can do that, it'll be great. But it's so hard.
Guild Wars 2
I was about to say, the problem is
that was all very static, though. That's all very static.
Guild Wars 2, it was all like repeating over and over again, and it was fake. It was like a fake world that was like, it's totally alive.
It was on a chain.
It was all bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, here's the start of the chain, here's the end of the chain. There are 5 events on this chain. And at any given time, one of those events is going to be the current event. So, you know, in the middle of this, the middle of the chain right here is town gets invaded by goblins. Yep. So either you defend the town successfully, in which case the chain moves here, when it says, now we better go push back against the goblins. Or, alternatively, you fail to defend the town, and it's like, oh shit, town's taken over, we're going to have to retake the town. You know, and that's how the events move. But they're all on this chain. They're all on this kind of static chain. There's no real cause and effect.
That's sort of what Final Fantasy 14 has done, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are like events that happen in the world, but they just get reset. Like they happen and then it'll reset, and a few hours later the same chain will happen.
Yeah.
But if you watch this podcast, you know that when Guild Wars 2 came out, we did say that game was going to be a bullshit game. So
Guild Wars 2.
Shout out to being on the air forever.
I don't recall saying that. I thought it was going to be quite good, and as it turns out, it was.
I called it.
Guild Wars 2
I know a lot of people who really liked Guild Wars 2. And
everyone yelled at me. Everyone in chat said I was full of shit. Everyone, fuck you, chat. You were wrong. That's the one time. Look, I've been wrong many times, but that was the one time I was right. And I'm going to ride that ship to the moon.
I heard the expansion was awesome, too.
Yeah. There's, you know, someone made the appropriate point. It's not a cause and effect, it's a tug of war. And that's exactly what it is. You know, it's a tug of war system built to look like cause and effect. You know, what I want is true cause and effect, where the world is, as a result, ultimately altered by what's going on. I mean, you know, and Eve is that game. It's just boring as shit, you know, but Eve is that game. Eve has true cause and effect. Eve is
complex in a way that it would need to be complex in order for that to happen.
Yes, yeah. Very true. So, other games we've been playing this week.
Sam and I finally played Tales from the Borderlands because everybody was like, fuck, that's like my game of the year. And I was like, really? So we finally played it. It's like probably the best Telltale game.
It is.
I would say.
A lot of people said that. From what I played so far, I don't know if I put it ahead of Wolf Among Us, but I do like it.
It
makes me angry that the Game of Thrones one is so shit. Shit.
I haven't gone back to that one. People keep asking me, it's like, why haven't you come up with an opinion of the end of Game of Thrones? Like, because I started hearing bad things about the next few episodes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to disappoint myself by playing that.
How did they screw that? Fuck.
The problem is you can't really explain why it's bad without spoiling it, right?
Well, honestly, I haven't played the last one that came out, because I gave up because I just didn't like it. So, like, I don't know what to spoil. Like, it could be spoiled for me, and I wouldn't know.
But Tales from the Borderlands, Dodger.
Yeah, I felt like it To me, it felt like the game that had the most intrigue throughout.
Okay.
I feel like all of the other Telltale games, like Wolf Among Us, had some really slow points, I thought. And so did Walking Dead. But Walking Dead, of course, was like one of their very first attempts at this. So, I'm not going to give them too much flack for that. That game in general was still very, very good. But I felt like Tales from the Borderlands was the perfect mix of incredible dialogue writing, lots of different things that can happen based on what you choose, good back and forth between characters, really good characters in general, which you could include in the writing. But it also had, that sort of comic booky art style that they love to do, but it was perfect because it was Borderlands, and that's already what Borderlands looks like. So I just felt like as we were playing it, I constantly felt like that we were engaged in the bigger picture. I didn't think there were a lot of slow moments in it at all. I really, really liked it.
A lot of what made Tales of the Borderlands stand out to me is that it is a world that had a lot of potential, but up until this point, that narrative potential hadn't really been explored very well because Borderlands is a terrible video game. So,
it felt like the perfect use of the Borderlands world, right?
Whereas the thing is with Game of Thrones, it's the opposite problem. Because Game of Thrones has had a ton of really awesome stories told within it already, so the watermark is very high. Whereas Borderlands has had no great stories told within it whatsoever, but there was a ton of potential for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We should stop talking about Game of Thrones. I'm about to go real angry. I'm just... We're not getting a sixth book. I'm just...
Wait, what happened?
Nothing. He missed his fucking deadline. Goddamn George R. R. Martin missed his fucking
the sixth
deadline.
book is not going to be out
because
before
It's
the
not
sixth
coming
series.
out.
Too
Not
busy
this-
laying on ladies and buying houses. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Damn it. I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me so mad.
What
That
amuses
fucking
me
lazy
so
piece of
fucking
shit.
much about the situation, and also like makes me think, what the fuck, people, is there are people who are legitimately angry about how slow he is, because like, you're gonna die before you tell us the end of the story, you fuck.
That's
like,
what everybody keeps saying. I'm like, wow.
That is the
Lazy piece of shit.
how much of an asshole are you for saying that? Like, holy shit, yeah, it's like, yeah, fuck your life. We want the story. You goddamn entitled bitches.
The problem is, and truly, honestly, the problem is that the TV show fucked up us getting a book. Basically, that's what, because like everything he does is in relation to that. So he goes to events and then doesn't write the fucking book. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I guess the TV show is where I'm getting the rest of the story. I'm not gonna fuck it. All right, bye. Like, okay. My heart aches. As a fan of the books long before there was a show, I just don't want to deal with. I want to find him and street fight him. I want to have a three-way street fight. Me, Chris Metzen, George R. R. Martin. I'm going to end it. I'm going to end it all. I'll kill both of them and start anew. So angry.
Oh dear. So I played some video games. Talk about those if you like.
Yeah, what have you been playing?
What did you play?
So a bunch of us got back into Warframe after a couple of years of not playing Warframe. So Warframe's been around for quite some time, and it's been kind of the PC user's Destiny, I guess. You know, it's actually quite similar to the way Destiny is. You know, it's a lobby-based MMO per se, where you're doing missions and grinding for gear and stuff like that. And when I played it back in 2013, I was very impressed by it because it was a free-to-play game that had really high production values. Like, great graphics, awesome aesthetic, really unique aesthetic, very, very different. And the combat system was really fluid. Now it's even fucking better than that. Like, 2 years on, they've spent a lot of time. They completely overhauled the melee system. They completely overhauled the parkour and the movement system. And they added a shitload of new content to it. And we got right back into it. And we've been playing a lot of it. I mean, I think we played like 8 hours of it yesterday. And it was a lot of fun. It's just amazing how much they've done with that game. Because that game has been very, very successful for them. Warframe seems to fly under the radar of people, but it's actually one of the most popular games on Steam. Yeah. Currently on Steam, it has 34,000 active players. Wow. That's double what Battlefront has, by the way. It's currently the 13th. It's currently the 13th most played game on Steam. Like, it's just behind Arma 3 and Rocket League. It's ahead of Rust. It's ahead of Terraria. It's ahead of the original Counter-Strike. It's ahead of Black Ops 3. It's a very popular game. that a lot of people don't seem to talk about all often.
I guess I'll try it. Warframe. Let me look it up.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you'll like it, because that's a game purely about grinding and crafting. And you said you didn't like that stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to give anything a try. I saw this on PS4.
Yeah.
It's a ninja game?
Yes,
game?
It's a Space Ninja game. Yeah.
Oh, this game is good? Really? I remember not liking it that much when I played it for a few seconds.
Well, maybe it's not for you. I mean, the whole point of that game is not really the story, although they have added some really cool story shit now into the game, and they've put some campaign missions in, which are really awesome. But it's mostly about get better gear, kill bigger stuff. That's what that game is. It's about acquiring the stuff that you want.
So wait, what kind of, is it a competitive game or?
It's PvE, so you play with other people. There is a PvP.
Oh, it's PvE?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's PvE.
I gotta try this.
So you can play it solo in a group. It actually has a raid now. There is like a PvP aspect to it, but you never have to play it. It's not really a big deal. So yeah, it's mostly PvE. You make a space ninja. You pick the weapons that you want. You upgrade the weapons. You get better weapons. It's ultimately people are like, "Oh, the game's grindy." It's like, yeah, but I mean, is it? Because the whole point of the game is to play the game. The grind is the game.
Plus, you're playing it with friends. Like it's it's the one selling point that was in Borderlands, basically. Like it's a grindy shit fest, but you're playing with friends, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot more synergy, I will say, I think, in Warframe than Borderlands between characters, but it's hard to argue the grind thing. It is really that the whole point of that game is to beat big monsters and get big loot, and that is a grind in and of itself. But what people describe as grind is also the core gameplay loop. And if you take the grind out of the game, you literally don't have a game anymore. It's like saying that, Diablo's really grindy after you've beaten the story once. So yeah, but that's the whole gameplay loop, is kill monsters, get loot. If you don't enjoy kill monsters, get loot, you're not going to enjoy Diablo. Same with Warframe. You're not going to enjoy Warframe if you don't enjoy kill monsters, get loot. Because that's what that game is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm enjoying quite a bit so far. I think the reason we went to it is because we've been playing quite a lot of Vermintide lately, which is also really, really fun. But
every single time I look at our YouTube chat, it's you being like, "Who wants to play Vermintide?
Who's in for Vermintide?
Anyone?
That's the problem with Vermintide, is that if you don't have like a 3 or 4 person group, then people can fuck it up for you. Which is why having a 3 or 4 person group for Vermintide is kind of important. With Warframe, you don't really need that. You can play solo, you can play with 2 people, like the game scales, whereas Vermintide does not. It's like Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead doesn't scale if you only have 2 people. You just get 2 bots instead.
Right.
And bots are shitty. So that's
I'm curious,
kind of the problem with it.
I'm curious, because you guys have played a bunch of the last 2 days. I'm curious a week from now what your thoughts will be.
It's kind of, I don't know.
Because one of those games where a lot of people, like, looking at people talking about it, a lot of people are talking about how, like, it's really, really fun, but it's one of those things where over time retention seems low. So I'm curious to see what you guys will think a week from now.
I mean, I think that it seems, based on the Steam stats, that retention in Warframe is quite high, and a lot of people play a lot. The thing is that the whole gameplay loop is about grinding for your next piece of gear. Because that's really, like, the whole aim of the game is acquire everything. Acquire every item. So it depends whether or not you're okay with getting into that gameplay loop and staying in it. Often I find myself...
Diablo.
Yeah.
I was literally about to be like, when does the next Diablo patch drop?
Yeah, I was going to say that is Diablo in a nutshell.
Season 4 was awesome, by the way. That was fun. So
I feel like Diablo 3 just gets better and better and better.
It does,
which is awesome.
Yeah, I did replay. And I was a big critic of Diablo 3 when it first came out. And when Reaper of Souls came out, I played Reaper of Souls. After all of the updates that Diablo 3 had, I was like, this is a much better game. Although I have not felt the desire to really dive back in, having beaten the story now. It's like,
there's a new area. Oh, TB, have you not seen? There's a new area, and it's like a mystery. It's like a creepy, like, island, like, looks like a setting in, like, an evil Maine island, even though it's not Maine, but it looks like
that's the question, isn't it? Would I really, do I want to go back in and play more of that? Because, I hit max level, and then started getting whatever the prestige levels are. I can't remember what they're called. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I think I've experienced what I want out of Diablo. But for a lot of people, their goal is get the best shit. And that's going to involve them beating progressively higher difficulty levels. And that's what Warframe is. And that's also what Vermintide is. You know, our goal in Vermintide right now is to deck all our characters out with the highest level gear possible and do the most difficult levels. And that's the whole core gameplay loop. For a lot of people are like, oh, well, wouldn't it get repetitive? It's like, yeah, it's by definition repetitive. Like, as soon as you start playing Diablo, Diablo is repetitive. As soon as you kill your second monster, Diablo becomes repetitive. But repetitive isn't a downside for a lot of people. Like, looping, if you enjoy that core gameplay loop, the fact that loops is not a problem for you.
Yeah.
But the loop's got to be good.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, loads of games are repetitive. It's like, it's the same bullshit people say, Rainbow Six Siege, so repetitive. Fucking no. It's not.
Every game, pretty much every game is... I think a lot of what will convince you or your brain that a game isn't repetitive is your investment in it. So, but yeah, just about everything is repetitive because there's only so much you can do.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that it kind of gives game developers a slide if you're to say, oh, well, I mean, a game is only repetitive if you personally don't find something engaging about continuing to play it over and over and over again, which is like true, but there's definitely an element of like developers have to be able to recognize what it is that keeps people interested and wanting to play it more and more and more, right?
Yeah,
like you can't just say, oh, well, I'm the sort of person who will always want to get the best score on every level. So like I want to play this game forever, and that has nothing to do with the developer. It absolutely has something to do with how the
and there are a lot of
create
games that rely too much on that score attack thing. And like me as a person that doesn't score attack at all, those kind of games tend to get very very boring for me quite fast. And I think in order to accommodate a wide player base, you need to give players different goals. What is interesting to me is that quite a few people complained, we could go back to Overwatch as an example. A lot of people complained about the lack of progression in Overwatch. I'm like, oh, why would I play the game if I'm not earning something? For a lot of people, that actually has a lot of value, genuine value. To me, the core gameplay of Overwatch, just like the core gameplay of Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six Siege, is good enough that progression is not important to me.
That's what I play for. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not important at all. So I don't mind that I went in and didn't come out with something. Some people say, oh, I played for an hour. I should earn something for that.
Yeah, I don't think that, I think that's a sign of, well, I wouldn't say bad game design because all games are different. I mean, because in World of Warcraft or something, you do want to come out with some loot or something. But like, yeah, game tends to be a little more compelling when what you earn is just that you were happy you put your time into it and got better at it or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of it is like, I don't mind loot as a side option, obviously, but it's when games rely too much on that whole Skinner box thing. It's like of just pressing the button until you get the pellet. Yeah, that to me is, I find that potentially damaging. You can design a game in a way where that's not damaging, but a lot of games overdo it way too much with the progression shit. And they lock all that shit behind walls. And like, the process of me acquiring this is not as enjoyable because I want the thing. People were asking me today in Warframe, it's like, it was in Sinvictor's chat last night. I think someone hit the nail right on the head when they were saying, oh, well, by people giving you stuff or by you buying stuff in game, you've missed out on a lot of the enjoyment of the game. And the enjoyment is the acquisition of that thing. And I said to him, well, to you, the enjoyment, it was the acquisition of that thing. To me, the acquisition of that thing is a suboptimal experience because I want to play the game with that thing. It's the same, and there's plenty of shooters that do this, and they're guilty of it. Let's say Battlefield, for instance. Battlefield. You have to use the M4 for X amount of time in order to unlock the AK-47. But I wanted the AK-47 to begin with, because I know I'd have more fun with the AK-47. So
That's
I had
so
to...
annoying about that game.
Yeah, so I had to play the game in a way that I didn't want to play it in order to play the game in a way that I did. And
that's a bad design. It should...
To me, that's a bad design philosophy.
A good desigin philosophy is letting people play the game they want while also showing them something they also want down the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's about choice as well. Like, Siege is a good example, I think, of good progression. Because when you get Siege, you have no operators unlocked, and your first operator costs 500 renown. Cheap as shit. In fact, your first couple of operators cost 500. It gradually goes up in price, but there are no operators locked behind any other wall than that renown cost. If I want to unlock IQ as my first operator, I can. I get that choice. But in a lot of these other games, they would say,
that's a good point.
IQ? She's a bit advanced. No, we're going to give you a choice of 4. You should pick one of these beginner operators here. You know?
That's a good point.
I like the way Siege does it. I like the way, remember old Black Ops? Like the first one? Where they had that token system? Where it's like, oh, you want a flamethrower under your AK-47 as your first ever unlock? Even though it's fucking impractical as shit? We don't mind. We're okay with that. In modern COD games, like, oh, flamethrower, that's advanced. You don't want that until level 62. It's like, no, I want it now. Give it to me now.
That's a good point. Otherwise, you feel like, every time I play a game like that, Battlefield included, I'm like, well, that guy just had a better thing than me. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
There's definitely aspects of that. Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, like, you know, like, I just don't really understand why they make games like that. It actually it does not encourage me to play it more. In fact, I just more often will drop out of it because I'm like, fuck this shit. Yeah. I mean, when it's a competitive game, at least, like, if it's single player or MMO, it's different, whatever. But like,
if I feel like me being skillful isn't enough, then I don't have any enjoyment, really.
There's definitely aspects of that in some games.
Yeah.
I think the best way to do it is to offer a breadth of choice and then encourage people to experience that choice. Because in Rainbow Six Siege, let's say Sledge is literally the only character you enjoy playing. You can not unlock anything else, and you can just play Sledge, assuming that people don't steal him, and obviously you can't play him on the defense side, but, you know, every time you play attack, you can play Sledge. But what the game does well is to encourage you by showing you just how cool the other guys are. Maybe you might want to try this guy instead. He's not better. He's not better than Sledge, but he's different, you know? Mm-hmm. And Warframe's very much like that. You can, in Warframe, you can acquire almost, in fact, I think pretty much any basic frame really fast. Hugely fast. Super cheap, super quick. Like in a couple of hours. Easy. And so you can pick the one that you think your playstyle is going to be best with. So you want to be the crazy melee berserker dude that pops claws out of his arms and shreds people? You can grab that frame really fast. You want to be the one that freezes dudes? You can grab that frame really fast. They're not better than each other, but as you play through that game and you see people using other frames and other playstyles, like, I want to try that now. And then you pursue that, and then something else. And you know, that to me is the best way to do progression, is to give you that choice. Yeah.
But I guess the problem is, like, say with Overwatch, right? Like, I've definitely really enjoyed when there's a character that frustrates the shit out of me and being like, okay, what's a good counter to this? Like, learning that way. But there's always a point where you're like, okay, now I know. Like, I know the counter to everything. I know how to go against stuff, but like, what? Like, how do you add on to that once you've hit that wall?
It's tricky. It is tricky. And in some cases, the core gameplay is so good that you never need to really add on to it, do you?
Yeah.
Well, but like, I wouldn't want somebody to start playing a game and it's their first time, but everybody else has been playing it for so long that you're just like, oh, fuck, there's no room for me to learn, right? And I guess TF2 doesn't feel that way, so I don't know why I would expect a game like Overwatch to feel that way eventually, but... You know, how do you make it so that somebody could still join in on the game and the game isn't just filled with shitlords who know everything about it?
I mean,
which is what happens with games like Han.
You do that things with matchmaking, really, don't you? You know, you make...
Yeah.
And the thing is, you've then got to encourage a constant flow of new blood into the game.
Mm.
Well, I think that's impossible to stop. That's like... There's always going to be people... that you just learn... It's trial by fire. If you want to learn hard enough, you will, sort of thing.
I mean, you got to admit, though, you play a lot of Counter-Strike, right? And Counter-Strike Go has done a much better job of getting people into it than the other games did, you know?
Yeah.
By offering, like, different game modes, for instance.
No, there's ways. Counter-Strike Go is brilliant, even though sometimes they do strange updates and kind of buggy at times. But
do you R-rate it 8 out of 8?
Oh my god, dude! I literally tweeted about that. I was so
My
mad. I was like, "Val, what the
God.
fuck wrong with you?" They didn't even. You could right.
How could they possibly test that? Like,
I don't know. The only conclusion I came to is one, they're trolling us. Two, they don't play their own game or know how to play their own game.
there are sometimes some decisions that developers make kind of in a bubble that are so mind-boggling to everybody else. You have to wonder, it's like, how the fuck did this even happen? It's happened in StarCraft a couple of times as well, like where a balance change has just been like so obviously awful that it's like, how did you even come up with this? Like, who were you playing against that made you think this was a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, the only way that... I mean, it must have been literally nobody who knew how to play the game played it, or else it wouldn't have been released. It was a one-shot body shot, perfectly accurate. What the fuck, pistol? What?
That barely cost anything.
Yeah, it didn't cost anything. Slightly more than Deagle. And also, they did this once with the AUG about a year ago, where they made it a fucking laser beam.
Oh, like, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It would go, you'd pick it up, and it would go in a fucking straight line. No recoil. And literally, it was so fucking good that people would walk by the AWP, which if you don't play Counter-Strike, is basically the coveted golden gun. It's a one-shot.
Really, really expensive, yeah.
Really expensive. Only the greatest skill players use it. People would walk by AWPs on the ground and pick up AUGs. Because it was a laser beam.
Yeah.
Instant headshot. I don't know what. I mean, I stopped playing that week, and I stopped playing the R8 week. Thank God they fixed them as fast as they did. But, I mean, at least they nerfed it. And they did... Oh, they also nerfed the rifles, but they brought it all back, and they apologized, which is very rare for anything related to Valve. So at least there's that. I mean, I've forgiven them. I still play their game. It's a good game. I love Counter-Strike's always been my favorite competitive game. I had a StarCraft 2 and a StarCraft bit too, but actually League of Legends as well. But it always comes back to Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Progression is interesting like that, and. I think the best games they just do a good job of separating those players and making sure that everybody kind of has their own thing to do. Like the thing Warframe I think does really well is it's got a bunch of side bullshit. People have referred to the game as Space Barbie and Fashion Frame because that game gives you a shitload of cosmetic customization.
I love cosmetic stuff in that sense, actually.
Too.
And people go out of their way to pursue making the coolest looking thing.
Yeah, you could just be like, I got this skin. What now? I'm the best at this game. I'm the best at buying stuff. But I'll say like the fucking what is it? Progression. I really think it's. I mean, you might have said this already. It's just fucking. It's useless to me. I think I don't understand progression in games like this. It doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, though, it seems like it does. It's like people just like, oh, well, what? It's an artificial way, I think, of keeping people in the game through the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, exactly.
For the most part.
No, because like I remember Call of Duty 4 was like the first game I played that had it, and it was like, I was like, oh, that's just in this game, and then it was in every game ever, and I was like, oh, okay, well then, yeah, okay, that's how that is, I guess. Or was it Call of Duty 4? Maybe it was Modern Warfare 2.
No, COD 4 did have it.
Yeah,
I think that was the first COD game to introduce persistent online progression.
Yeah, even Counter-Strike Go has ranks, and I'm like, what are these for?
I mean, the ranks in that are to stratify to make sure that you don't run into people who are much, much better than you, right?
That's no. Sorry, I don't mean the competitive rank. I'm talking about the level. You have like a level.
Oh, do you? Does it give you access to anything?
I don't know what it does. All I know is it's separate from like the like Master Guardian ranks, Legendary Eagle. It's not that. That one is obviously.
Did you say Pleasure Eagle?
No, Legendary Eagle, but Pleasure Eagle is more like
Pleasure Eagle.
There is no pleasure in that rank.
The Pleasure
Eagle. That is an ELO hell sort of rank. But no, I just don't understand what the hell that level is for. Maybe it's for something, and I just don't know what it is.
It might just be for straight up stat tracking, like literally just vanity.
Maybe it's vanity. It's possible.
Which is fine too. That's okay. I mean, it can't be a hard thing to implement. Just whack it in there. Why not?
Yeah.
Whack in that Pleasure Eagle.
Speaking of vanity, I've spent a little too much on skins in that game. Might have gone.
I saw you were giving He Productions very expensive toys. Are you proposing at any time soon, John?
Oh yeah. I bought him for Christmas.
Is this your courtship thing?
He always mentioned that he likes. Basically, I would always buy a bunch of crazy skins because I'm silly, and he was, he wouldn't, and he would always talk about how he wanted he thought the shadow daggers were cool, and because not everybody's crazy enough to be stupid and spend that much money on a skin. So I just got it for him for Christmas, and I thought, because I don't know, I just thought it was a cool gift. It was me, a little man, meant something between us. It was more than a gift card to Macy's, so it's a sentimental gift, I guess. Thanks for making fun of me though, and making me feel like a big jerk off. Though. Yeah, I made him that video as the reveal because I didn't know how to give him the gift physically.
Oh my!
And dude, the trading process was ridiculous. Had to verify our emails 7 times.
Yeah, I heard they've done some crazy stuff now to stop a lot of the scamming. That you have to jump through fire basically to trade now.
It's untradeable for 7 days, and then when you do trade it, it's held for 24 hours. And then you have to verify your email. And if you cancel the trade for any reason, you go on a 7-day trade cooldown.
Fuck my life!
Whoa.
I've never got involved in the
7
marketplace with Steam at all.
Christ.
My inventory is full of thousands of trading cards I could probably sell for actual money and buy games with, but I can't be fucking bothered. The whole thing seems so laborious.
It is. I don't understand why they've done that. Maybe it was some sort of regulation, or maybe it is to help their customers not lose things. Clearly, they must have done it for some reason, but I don't know. I don't understand the trade scamming. Like, how do you get scammed? Just don't get scammed. The end.
Great advice.
Good advice, John.
Great advice.
I mean, why is it scammable? I don't understand. I just don't understand who's getting scammed. Also, there's this weird like CS:GO gun skins gambling thing that some people do. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's a big deal,
yes.
man. Yeah.
That's a
What is
big
that?
old thing.
I did it with Dota 2 rares, and I think during the 2013 International, and I lost all my rares, and I've never done it again. My Twitter was just because I was watching the match, and I'd bet a bunch of rare items on this team winning. And it was just me going between my rares, smiley face, and then my rares, cryy face, as the game swung back and forth. I was like, no, my rares!
Wait, how does it work? What does it do? I don't understand.
So it's an external service where you bet rare items on who wins.
Does it access your Steam inventory?
Yeah, it's through bots basically. You give the items to a third-party website and they hold it in escrow. And then if you win, you're paid out your items back plus extra rares. If you lose the bet, then you lose your rares.
Oh,
so,
and you're betting on games like sports betting?
Yeah, you're betting on the result of Dota games, competitive Dota games.
What? So is it?
That's how Counter-Strike works too, by the way.
So is that that's not legal yet? Or it will be legal soon?
If you live in California, no betting of any kind is legal.
Really? I used to pay. I used to play online poker, and they shut that down one year.
Yeah, they shut that down hard.
Black Tuesday poker community.
I mean, I don't think they regulate as much because it's not real shit. Like, it's not real money. So you're betting rare items essentially, but it's probably a loophole of some sort.
No, you know what? It's like pachinko.
It's like hit the lever, erotic violence.
It's like no, I believe, and I could be wrong. I think in Japan, it may not be legal to bet real money. So they use pachinko where you can trade in the balls, those steel balls for prizes.
Yep.
So it's like a workaround similar like this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because the esports world is so like Wild Westy.
Oh, it really is.
They can get away with that kind of stuff. Be like, oh yeah, no, you can bet, and you get items instead of money, but the items have like cash value.
Yeah,
but not really, so they can get away with it, kinda. So yeah,
I mean,
eventually,
technically, it's not real cash value because it's not. You could sell, could not sell. So.
But it's the same kind of crazy logic of we can sell out of a digital game. Like, oh yeah, we only have so many digital copies of this game. Like, it's just false economy and crazy shit. It's Wild West nonsense.
There is nothing that cracks me up more than pre-order your digital copy now.
Yes, no doubt.
What the fuck is that about? We want to make sure we have the bandwidth for you.
Yeah, I will never understand people that pre-order digital games. Not even games. Like, who the fuck pre-orders digital music? Can someone tell me? Who is that person?
I gotta get Tay-Tay's new album, man.
Obviously, enough people do it for them to bother to support the system. So, who does it? Who does this?
It must be just the impulsive minority that they just get their money in right away. I don't know. Maybe people just want to know it's on the way. They see it in the inventory. Preload.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about.
Preloads. I can see it for preloads.
Yeah, but preloading music? I mean, it's not like it's a big download. You can download the whole album in 3 seconds now.
Right. Music, maybe. Well, maybe this man lives in fucking Wyoming and has 1 kilobit per second internet. You know,
I don't get it. Like, it's the same with pre-ordering digital movies. Like, I to at least to some degree understand pre-ordering physical items like on Amazon, because like guaranteed delivery the day of release. Like, okay, I can see why you'd do that.
No, that makes
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But digital stuff.
But digital,
I
don't get it.
I think that'll phase out as our generation slowly fades into the death.
Oblivion fades into oblivion, the
and-
darkness of oblivion. As we all
The cold
die. Thank
void.
you, John.
No, our generation bought stuff as it got dark there for a second.
As
What
we
the
all
fuck,
fade
man?
into the darkness of eternal black.
Yes, as we all fade and die, wither, dust. It's dust. It's nothing. It's big nothing. And all because of
As
digital
our
pre-order.
short lives upon this ever-turning globe in the cosmic dust of the universe fade into nothingness.
Is that a false thing?
The eventual heat death of the universe.
Or is-
Entropy, forsooth he did say, is a real
When the
fucking
stars in the
bitch.
sky go dark and vanish forever.
Fucking dark as shit. I just mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's pre-ordering music in a nutshell. Well, that right there. The eventual heat death of the universe and pre-ordering Justin Bieber's new album are very, very similar.
I just mean our generation is like, we used to pre-order stuff that of the placeholders the copy you would actually physically receive, because they used to run out of video
Yeah,
games.
they did sometimes, yeah.
Smash Brothers Melee, I remember I called the store. Do you have Smash Brothers Melee? They said we have one left for the lucky boy in black. That was me. I looked down. I was wearing black. I ran to that store. I saw that store with glee. Okay? And I picked up my copy. And I said,
My
thank
God.
you, good sir.
I have in my head this loop of John just running like this with the Carol of the Bells playing in the background, like do 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 do.
I was imagining I've got a golden ticket.
Oh, okay,
same
that's
here.
fair too.
Yeah.
I was also imagining the guy at the store was outside John's window watching him like, I've got one for the boy in black. That's me! And he's like, yeah, it is.
I got there. It was just anal penetration without permission. It wasn't
What?
Of course.
Wait, what?
when I got there.
I'm sorry,
just
what?
Huh?
penetration without my permission. There was no game to be had.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tricked me. You were
John
making
got
things-
tricked.
I got
it's just a
tricked.
prank, bro. Social experiment.
Man, that shit it got so real recently. That whole-
Yes.
You saw the Sam Pepper thing?
I
I'm assuming.
did. Sam Pepper needs
yes.
to be shot in the face.
Well, isn't that what?
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a social experiment, of course. It's just a prank, bro. Just a prank.
Just a prank, bro.
Did you see where he made a Kickstarter to delete his channel or something like that?
Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
gave
1.5
anything to
million
it.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, please give me attention. No, you're a prick. Fuck off.
Honestly, it's just so. That guy, I don't know much about him. I just think he's hilarious.
Well, he's a prick. I mean, that's the main problem. He's a piece of shit, like a walking, talking piece of shit.
I don't know much about him. I seriously don't know that much. I just saw that kill your own friend prank, which was clearly like staged.
Yeah, I mean, him existing lowers the status of the United Kingdom in the world. Like,
Yeah, he's British, right?
yes, unfortunately. I disavow, if possible, any knowledge of his actions. He's a fucking prick.
Well, you gotta, on average, have one or two pricks.
Unfortunately, yes.
I mean, that's your word, isn't it? Prick. So
Yeah,
there you
we like that word. It's pretty good. It's a good word.
that one has that is a word that came to America. I feel like it's originally a British insult, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah,
I have a
prick.
question, TB.
Yes.
Sam was saying that British people don't actually call other people gits. Do you
No, we don't.
concur? Git is not an actual word.
Git is very
I thought that was
comedic.
a Southern thing. I thought it
No.
was a Southern word.
Git is a very comedic term. Like, it used to be offensive, but now it kind of passed the point of being offensive into comedy. So if you call someone a git, it's more like you git kind of. Not it's not an insult anymore, really. It's like bloody used to be a swear word. Like, bloody used to be very offensive. Now people just include it in speech out of nowhere. It has no real offensive value anymore.
Yeah.
Bloody was offensive.
Yeah. My mother actually used to be. My mother was from the generation where bloody was offensive. So if I used that term, she would get. She would be like, "Don't you dare!" Now, of course,
Wait.
bloody doesn't mean anything.
That's really crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, all the British stuff I watched, they said bloody, and it didn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah, it's a very kind of 50s, 60s thing. You know,
Crazy.
past that point, the effectiveness of bloody as a swear word, kind of like
we have
bollocks. You know, bollocks used to be very offensive. Now it doesn't just doesn't really mean anything.
I guess
like-
so. Is it like damn?
Yeah, although without the religious connotations.
Well, I'm saying damn used to be a bad word, but it's not really.
Well,
a
I mean,
bad
damn's
word.
still a bad word because it's technically blasphemous. That's kind of
I
where it
guess,
came
yeah.
from.
The
But
religious
obviously, like
thing,
most
yeah.
people don't care. It's like, oh my god, is blasphemous, but most people don't give a fuck anymore. You know?
Wait, what's an
God.
American? Yeah, go ahead.
Hmm?
No, you first, Dodger.
Oh, I was just gonna say my dad. Well, my grandma used to be offended when my dad would say bitchin', and now bitchin' is like such an old
Silly
word that
word.
nobody
Yeah.
uses. Yeah, but like at the time when kids started to say bitchin', their parents were like, "I cannot believe you are saying that. That is
I want to
so
bring that back.
offensive."
Yeah.
I want to bring it.
I mean,
Right?
pissed off is another one.
bitchin'.
You know, people just use
Bitchin'.
pissed off isn't really offensive anymore, but it used to be.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when I was a
pissed,
kid
yeah.
growing up, saying pissed off would get you in detention at school. Like it was
Really?
considered offensive.
But doesn't that mean getting drunk in England?
Getting pissed? Yeah.
Getting pissed?
Yeah. Going
That's
on a bender.
bitchin'. Getting
Yeah.
pissed is bitching.
That one?
Yeah, pissed.
I'm gonna get pissed off and eat
But
a bitch.
but it's weird because like getting pissed and getting pissed are two different things. You know, that's either
Yeah,
getting mad or getting drunk.
Oh yeah, getting mad or getting drunk, right?
Yeah.
It's
Are there any other British swear words you need me to clarify for you, Dodger?
I don't think so.
knackers. Is it
Knackers? Yeah. I mean, knackers used to refer to
Yeah,
testicles.
knackers.
Did I ever tell you that my Granker Cope ruined my childhood?
What?
Okay, so this is a great story, and I think people will be able to relate to it. If you saw the Game Grumps guest Game Grumps where we had Granker Cope on, if you don't know who he is, he's the composer of many rare games, including Banjo-Kazooie, not limited to GoldenEye, 007 for N64, all these games. Anyways, he did a lot of the voice, the sound effects too, not just the music. And do you guys remember Mumbo from Banjo-Kazooie?
Mhm.
No, seriously, do you remember Mumbo? I mean, do you play that game?
It's been too long.
No, none of you played Mumbo? Seriously, nobody played Mumbo? I mean, so none of you know it. Anyways, okay. Here's a fucking you making fun of me. Here's a fucking juju doctor, witch doctor, and he would talk like this, right? And there was, let me see. I think I can actually play it off this, and it's
I
gonna.
think I'm supposed to be offended by that, but I'm not sure. Like, continue.
Why? Well, what do you mean?
Mumbo Juju Doctor just sounds offensive for some reason. I don't know why.
Does it?
It really does.
Oh, Mumbo
Yeah.
Juju Doctor.
You've been conditioned
It's
by
accurate.
the PC police.
Yeah,
He's bitching
I'm PC, bro.
So bitchin'.
Okay, hold on. Let me just play this clip because it will.
Oh,
Hold on.
this is going horribly wrong, isn't it?
No, it's not. Hold on. I thought this was playing the music. Oh, here we go. Okay, you hear this? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Here, let me just get to the part.
I'm just waiting for the point.
Hold on, it's working. I promise. Okay, here, this should work. I just need to get the transformation sound effect. Hold on.
What the fuck is happening?
Just hold on. You guys can keep talking. I just got. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. You hear how he says "Uminaka," like that?
Yes.
Sure.
That's Greg Kirkhope saying "Oh me knackers."
Oh.
Ooh, me knackers.
Yes.
I wondered how all this related to whatever the fuck we were talking about.
I was like, we are
finally came
going on a
back together.
goddamn trip.
You
Dude,
paid
it was
off,
like a
John. It paid off.
it was a secret. Basically, they would say inappropriate things that put them in here, but we didn't know. We were none the wiser. We
Yep.
think he's saying
Uminakas is basically means ow my testicles.
Yeah, but he says that the kids game and we didn't know. But this is before the internet. Nobody knew except him. And then I just found this out one day by meeting him, and it blew my fucking mind. And I don't think anybody knew that. No, I don't think anybody knew that fact before the Game Grumps interview. Whatever. Nobody cares.
You're watching the Corruptional Podcast. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Corruptional Podcast. The final, however minutes of the show. I have no idea at this point. I've lost track. Everyone was late. Everything was terrible.
You know,
Yeah, how long
fucking,
are we
frankly-
going? Are we going for another hour?
I don't know.
Okay.
Frankly, I kind of resent this treatment I'm getting.
Also,
The big giant zooming JonTron head has problems with our format, it would seem. Whee!
Listen, it's not my fault you put my head, the whole head's on the screen on mine. Why don't you give me the whole head of my head?
I did! And then he moved closer to the screen.
Why don't you give him the whole head of his head?
Just give me the whole head of my head.
I can't. You have your whole head. It's right there. Look. See? Now it's not.
No, this is in my thing. I'm in the full frame here.
This.
I agree.
I agree with John. It is all TB's fault. This is a TB problem.
Oh, don't you start with me. Fucking have you, mate.
I just get so oh, he said mate. I'm scared now.
Knackers and twat and other words.
I could twat you in the knackers, mate.
Twat you in the knackers.
You're a good Rogerin. Wait.
Uh-huh.
No, we
So
won't be doing that.
So what is our topic
That's
in
premium
this
content,
third
that.
hour of the
Oh,
show?
God knows. I mean, what have we had news-wise? It's, of course, now 2016. It is current year! So, what has been happening? I mean, not a great deal. Obviously, Steam went to shit. We know that.
President Obama did his last State of the Union.
I don't think that's got much to do with video games, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it has to be with video. I thought you were talking about the year.
No!
Oh, fuck me. Please.
ISIS blew up a 4-year-old with suicide bombing today. Yeah, that's not part of the show. Like, we don't talk about that stuff. Because it's depressing.
Fuck those guys.
Video games are depressing enough as it is without any of that shit.
Video games happened so far. Probably somebody made a shitty open world game, probably.
Most likely. They do that quite often. The big thing, I suppose, is that MLG was bought by Activision Blizzard for $46 million.
Yes.
Oh.
And everyone was like, oh my God, you know what that means for Blizzard? Probably not much, because Activision has much more going on for it than Blizzard, so calm your tits.
It will have something to do with Blizzard. The thing is, the reason why people are a bit concerned is because this is not the first time Blizzard or Activision Blizzard has done this. They bought the assets of IPL, which was IGN Pro League a couple of years ago,
right,
and then really did nothing with it. And IPL basically died. The concern for some people is that this situation will repeat itself with MLG, although with the amount that they've spent versus the amount they spent on IPL, not even close, by the way, I don't think that's going to be the case. And Bobby Kotick came out with a statement that said, yeah, we want to be the ESPN of esports, which is a bit weird because I thought the ESPN of esports was ESPN, but okay.
Yeah.
Wait, do they have an esports thing now?
ESPN do esports, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
ESPN 2, but yeah.
I'll say this, Counter-Strike Go, I've been watching a lot of competitive recently because it's gotten really good and the casters are really good and it's set up well. And Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, was over there vouching CSGO, I think specifically CSGO, but maybe just esports. So I think I would be really happy to see like ESPN grade esports in the future.
I also think we already have it. Like, I think that the really high-end stuff is as good.
No. It's not that. We have it, but it's not organized in a way that everybody knows, like, this is the CSGO championship, and it's a big deal. That's what I'm so hoping for that one day, you know? Well, like, the way that the Super Bowl has, like... Because here's what I'm saying. Imagine this. A bar that played esports. I would be there.
They already exist.
Cool. They do exist.
There's quite a few of them. There's probably at least one in New York City, I'd imagine.
Oh, there's probably multiple in New York City.
Yeah, there's quite a few esports bars. The Meltdown bars in particular are mostly esports. So there's quite a few.
Oh God, please be one in here, Manhattan. Oh,
there's probably one in New York, I imagine.
Oh, there's one in. Oh, it looks like there's a little building sign, work in progress. And no, there's none in America.
Oh, bar crafts are everywhere, man.
Like well, the Meltdown, there's none in America.
Yeah, no, Meltdown's a European thing. But
okay, so what is one? What's I
mean, just look for like look for esports bar in New York. Like
bar
they probably exist.
Yeah, what I would search for.
Because I mean, before that, there was a lot of stuff that was just kind of takeovers of bars. Like the concept of a barcraft was something that came around in 2010, where people would go and watch StarCraft in the bar.
Really
there are quite a few barcades, and there's a lot of crossover between barcades and esports stuff.
We have a lot of barcades around here. It's one specific chain called Barcade. It's right next to my office, actually. But
stalking now. I'll see. Find you a little bit.
It's a big city. Anyways,
there's so many barcades, Sean. I'll find you.
Didn't say which one. Also, the. Now you got me.
You're regretting it now. I derailed the whole thing.
Anyways, they don't play esports there, but I looked it up once. There are no esports bars here, at least that I know of. Let me look it up on Yelp.
And someone asked in the chat, why would anyone want to go to a bar to watch esports? Why would anyone want to go to a bar to watch sports?
I was going to say, it's the same
thing. It's an experience. You're drinking with people, having good...
People, yeah. Watching esports in a crowd is way better than watching it on your own. You kidding me?
I feel like having an esports bar would be easier than it's ever been right now because of Twitch. Like, you could literally have multiple different games and different tournaments up on screens all over the place, just like a sports bar.
There's always esports content, 24 hours a day. No doubt.
Yep.
Like, the problem is that you kind of got to have different games. And I don't think there's as much crossover in terms of esports viewership between esports and between games as there is with sports. Like, I just feel like sports fans watch a decent number of sports. I may be wrong here. Am I wrong?
I don't necessarily think. I think that, like...
No, I think sports fans are pretty much one sport.
Okay.
Yeah, they typically are, like, really into one sport or kind of into a couple.
They have, like, seasons. They're like, this is the season where I watch basketball, and this is the season where I watch football, and I don't got time for baseball because it interferes with the hockey season. Like there's weird, you know.
Some of my friends from Philly were, like, always, and they're a good thing to take from because they love sports in that city. Yeah, there's, like, they're Flyers fans, there's Phillies fans. They're both Flyers and Phillies fans, so, yeah, maybe multiple sports. I think it's more so like the affiliation with the city, at least in some.
Absolutely,
there's a lot of that. Yeah, and esports does have some of that, but it's very much on a national level. You know.
No, see, that's the thing. Esports actually doesn't have that, which makes it really hard. Like if there was like a New York team or something.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It's not on a city level. You know, it's very national. It's like this is the U.S. team. This is the Korean team.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they should bring it to a city level. It would be cool that way. Because then you could like follow your team more better. I mean, what the fuck? Am I just supposed to go for the U.S. people?
Right now, yeah.
I think the thing that the translation there is, like, I don't know, like Evil Geniuses, for example, or Tempo Storm, like they're across multiple games. So if that's like your jam, like I like that team, then you can follow that team for multiple games. But
I always thought that was funny how they franchised the team. Like it's like
that's literally the only way you're making money in esports right now is if like you are in every single game.
You've got to be in quite a few.
Because some games are such failures that you're throwing money at it and you're just losing money.
It's a sink.
So the other team has to make the money back. Yeah. It's crazy.
But I think this current generation of competitive games has realized that games as a sport, not a like they don't release a new version every year like Call of Duty does. Because it has to be built like a sport with consistent rules and. So they should keep... I mean, Counter-Strike Go, I don't see why it ever needs another update. It could just be a sport forever. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the competitive guys would disagree with you on that, but that's the problem. Like, it's not necessarily... It's not... Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the problem is the metagame, right? Like, you think, oh, God, the game's perfectly balanced. That's great. And then something starts to creep in. And it's like, it's how the tactics of the players adapt in a specific way to what's going on in the game. And then the weird thing is the metagame kind of shoves the balance out of whack.
That happens with every sport, even real sports.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
So I think that's what's fun about watching a sport. It's like, what's the best guy going to do? And how is he going to wow the world with his special tactic that now everybody picks up? Like, I think it's normal. But Counter-Strike is a balanced game. I mean, no gun is too good except for the R8, but they fixed it. Like it's obvious when that kind of balance it goes wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily know if it's perfectly balanced because like all of the guns in that game are not equally viable. Like in fact, the vast majority of them are not competitively viable.
They're not
viable,
supposed
right?
to be equally viable.
Yeah, I've never understood that about CS. Like having guns that are not supposed to be good doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
That's not it at all. The old games were like that. CS:GO, every single gun is viable and has a purpose. Like you would buy one pistol over another for armor penetration, like for better like headshot shots. The Deagle is just a one-hit headshot hand cannon, but it costs a lot, so it's risk reward. The only gun that doesn't really have a place is the dualies. That's one of the only guns in the game.
Yeah, maybe I just don't know enough about CS:GO, but like I don't see people running around with UMP45s on a regular basis or anything like that.
No. They have basically different guns give different money rewards. And so I believe the Bison gives a slightly bigger reward than the UMP. Maybe not. Either way, it all depends on if you want to save money and get a worse gun or spend more money and get a better gun. And it has to do with the game economy, which is how the competitive works. In my opinion, it's a perfect game. It's one of the only perfectly balanced games out there. I play it like every day though. It's like my game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and League of Legends League of Legends is different because they're always introducing new champions. It's really hard to balance something.
Well,
like
that's the business model, isn't it? You know, if you can't make
works.
money otherwise.
It works, but it makes it hard to make it a sport. I guess that's just part of it. I guess part of the sport is finding out.
I think it is. Like, it's just got to accept it. I mean, not every sport is static in the way that people think. Like Formula One, for instance, has new rules every fucking year. You know, and NASCAR is very similar in the way that they put restrictions and different things on how people can design their cars. And I mean, that's part of the sport, right?
Well, you know what? That's what it needs. It needs a central regulation. So that's what they're trying to do, I guess, with buying MLG.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Blizzard I think Blizzard are maybe done with dealing with third parties in a long ways, because, like, if you know anything about StarCraft 2's competitive history, Blizzard has had a pretty bad time with third parties, especially because they wanted to do the World Championship Series, and it's like, we want to make this, we can't make it in-house, so you guys make it. And then they had shitloads of problems with people wanting more money or wanting to do it in a different way, or all that kind of thing, and I think they've maybe got to the point of just saying, fuck it. We're going to buy an existing company, and we're going to now have the ability, the talent pool, and the equipment to produce that stuff ourselves in our control and make money out of it directly.
Right. I mean, that's just the whole thing behind startups anyway, right? So it's like, it's normal, I guess.
I think there's a lot to do with that.
The big company takes over and makes it... well, it's like somebody takes on the biggest risk, which is getting it off the ground. Once it's off the ground, the big company
then it gets bought.
Pays the big bucks and makes it a real thing.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's good. I think that sounds cool. I don't know much about MLG, but...
I mean, I've worked with MLG a lot in the past on a professional level, you know. I've been contract with them. I've worked with them for about 5 years. I think they're a pretty good organization. They ended up in a pretty shitty position because they were one of the original esports organizations that were producing actual real live tournament content. And for money, you know, they were charging to get in. And some of what they did was revolutionary. Some of what they did was really good, and some of what they did was really shitty. But they were entering territory which was barely explored in the West. You know, in Korea, they had the infrastructure for it, but...
They were definitely like the first. I recall they were like the first, maybe.
They weren't the first per se, but the stuff that came before it was really shitty. Like,
they were the first that was like not terrible, yeah.
Yeah. They were the first that made sense, that was actually like sustainable. And then they had a bunch of problems, you know? I mean, a lot of people in the StarCraft scene don't like them too much anymore because they basically stopped producing StarCraft tournaments because they weren't making enough money off it. The fighting game scene got into a spat with them. And it's unfortunate because I think as an organization, they were pretty good and they had some good ideas. A lot of their ideas got shut down. They used to run premium tournaments that you could only watch if you paid, basically pay-per-view. They did the pay-per-view model. They did StarCraft tournament, which cost $10, I think, to watch, and they got a lot of really fucking good players fly over to New York, and it was 3 days of content for like $10, and people shit on them for doing that. And they were like, this cost a ton of money to produce.
Yeah.
Like, how are we supposed to make money here?
But it's the internet, where everyone wants it for free because it's the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, like, I just think it's so exhilarating to watch esports, and I don't know. I hope that one day soon it becomes super organized because I love, organized. And when I say organized, I mean easier to follow because I feel like it's like a Wild West. I don't know. It feels a bit Wild Westy at the moment.
It very much is. I mean, it varies on a scene-to-scene basis. Like, League of Legends is very regulated because Riot has a fucking iron-fisted grip around the whole competitive scene.
Right.
StarCraft is much more laissez-faire, particularly this year. With the way that they've changed things around, they're like, you can do a lot of what you want in StarCraft. They still have their main tournaments, but they basically now contracted those main tournaments out to take over, like, third-party shit. Like, their main circuit now is, like, DreamHack and IEM, which used to be independent events. And CSGO is different as well.
Is StarCraft 2 still watched?
A decent amount. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still got good views. Like,
StarCraft 2 is fun as hell to watch.
I love watching StarCraft.
It's one of the better games to watch, I think.
Yeah,
if not the best.
I think someone in chat just said it. Now it's gone. But I think I'm curious to see what Blizzard Activision is going to do. Activision Blizzard, whatever, is going to do to the creativity of MLG and like the people like because a lot of the things that Blizzard does tournament wise are real stupid, and so I'm hoping that they bring some of the MLG people in to be like, here's what y'all screwing up all the time because there's some things that need to be fixed, and it's, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I love the way that when they have the really professional commentators or shoutcasters, whatever you call them. It's always great because it's actually kind of funny because I'm still not used to hearing people talk about it so seriously, like it's some like major leagues American sport. But it's cool. They're usually British, actually. The
Although to this day, I still don't understand, and this is probably why the esports scene, I never will quite get it, but I don't get casters in suits. I've never understood that.
I've worn enough fucking suits in my lifetime casting to be bitching about that one.
No,
I don't understand.
I like the suit aspect, and you probably know more, TB, because
I do, because I've done it for 5 years.
But I think the suit makes it like professional.
I'm okay with it.
That's what they're going
I actually enjoy wearing a suit. I don't enjoy wearing the fucking tie, because good luck shouting through a fucking tie. That's a pain in the ass, but I don't mind wearing the suit at all.
Professionalism and like we're making it's real. This is a real like I get it.
That's what it is.
Just always seems ridiculous to me. It always seems silly.
It's gone more and more into the t-shirt with a blazer territory than the like.
I actually think it's shifted away from that in the last year. T-shirt and a blazer used to be the MLG standard. And I think over the last 2 years, people are like, no, t-shirt and blazer is dumb. You wear shirt, collared shirt, long sleeve collared shirt, tie, suit jacket, trousers. You know, that's the caster outfit.
You think we've done this?
Yeah,
because like
we have.
Like Magic the Gathering, it's always been like full on nice gear. You know, no matter what. So I think it's interesting that we've gone from like full on nice gear, everybody like be as professional as possible to no, but you know, we're just like dudes. We're just like dudes, just like casting, you know? And maybe that came from the culture of people making videos by themselves and doing it and like having casters come up that way.
It's also on a tournament-by-tournament basis, because a lot of these tournaments are homegrown. Like, if you watch something like Home Story Cup, which is a very literally homegrown tournament in StarCraft 2, where the casters get drunk, the players get drunk, the players come and cast randomly. It's really fun, but obviously that's very casual. But then you compare that to WCS, like the big BlizzCon stage, then they're suit and tie. Like, no doubt. It depends on the game, it depends on the event. You know, you'll see... Yeah. The guys doing the international are suit and tie, but some of the guys at the analyst desk are not, because it's just a little bit of a different theme. I mean, I remember the TI where the guy was wearing a giant fucking wizard's hat at one point, like predicting the thing with the crystal ball. It was so good. But it varies.
There's always room for the silly casual stuff, but I think it makes sense. The suit and tie makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, and I cast a lot. You know, I'm totally okay with doing that. I'm also okay with doing this podcast in a fucking bathrobe, because that's my show. You know, if I'm doing someone else's show, though, then it's their fucking rules. If they want me in a suit and tie, then I'm in a suit and tie, no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, though. I think that the dissonance that you're seeing, Jesse, is probably down to just how inherently ridiculous video games actually are.
I mean, it's nothing.
I mean,
I'm not like,
Storm.
oh, it's the worst. I just think it's silly.
Heroes of the Storm is a prime example. It's like, I'm in a suit and tie. That's murky. You know, the dissonance between those two things is to a lot of people really crazy. So they're like, I mean, that's video game characters on screen, or like Smash. Like, this is Pikachu. Why am I in a suit? You know.
Well, it's the same thing with. I mean, you can even go to football, for example. Football Americans it's men.
That's one way to turn it.
Men bashing into each other, and the guys in suits are like, "That was a great play, Phil." Yes, it always
now bring out the dancing bird. You know, at the halftime or whatever.
It's ridiculous to me, and I will never get over it. And I think it's silly. Like it always. But I get it. You know, suit equals air of authority. It's always been that way. I get it. It makes sense. It's just always seems very funny.
Have you seen me in a suit? You'll start doing things I asked that you thought you'd never do. Mm-hmm. It's the in the suit. It's actually the mind control chip I placed in you. And do you remember that Amanda Bynes tweet? Sorry, this is a total derail.
Where the fuck are we going with this?
What the fuck? Wait.
What just happened?
This whole podcast has been like conversation, and then John saying something that sounds like it's totally from nowhere.
Just made up.
And then eventually it comes back around full circle into, oh, I see where you were going with that. Multiple times now.
It's the chaos effect. He's metagaming this podcast.
Hold on. I need to know this. What is this tweet? John, what is the tweet you're referring to?
Happening?
How does this relate to mind control? What did Amanda Bynes say about mind control?
Okay, well, it's not. It's actually kind of tragic more than funny, but it's also. It's also kind of funny.
It's actually kind of tragic. Go on.
You don't remember when
I need more pills.
Oh god.
Dude, he's just popping all of his pills. Just, I don't know, just put me to sleep. Fuck.
You don't remember when Amanda Bynes went schizo?
I mean, we do, but I'm trying to wait. What was the tweet?
Who's Amanda Bynes?
So what? Amanda Bynes, she was a child star for Nickelodeon.
All that, yo.
And
Wait, TB also just didn't know who Amanda Bynes was.
I don't know who Amanda
This
Bynes
is
is.
even better.
anyways, she went. Okay, she started tweeting this. She started getting progressively crazier and crazier. Like she was living here in New York, and she dropped a bong out of a window. That was one of the first.
What's an Amanda Bynes? Oh,
Yeah, Amanda Bynes, B-Y-N-E-S. She dropped a bong out of a window, and the police came over like, the fuck's wrong with you? And she started doing crazier stuff. She was found on the streets, like, bicycling weird, wearing weird wigs. And one day, she tweets...
Actress? Okay.
Yeah. One day, she tweets, out of the fucking blue, she tweets, my dad molested me when I was a kid, and I can't believe this, or something. Everyone was like, what? And the next tweet, after I guess it was a damage control tweet, she's like, oh god, hold on, let me just look it up because I don't want to misquote it.
Where are we going with
I
this?
can't wait to find out how this relates at all.
To MLG.
So,
I want to know how this relates to
MLG.
esports and caster
I
attire.
just looked up
This is gonna
Amanda
be
Bynes'
great.
mind control.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay, here it is. She tweeted my dad molested me and all this stuff like that, and then she tweets afterwards, my dad never did any of those things. The microchip in my brain made me say those things, but he's the one that ordered them to microchip me.
I remember those tweets. I remember when those tweets happened.
Do you remember? And I saw this tweet like fucking before it was deleted or whatever. I don't know if it's still there. And I just fucking, my brain exploded. And I guess she went schizo or something. But holy crap!
what
Because
John is saying is that esports is like mind control.
it's like my. Oh, you were saying the suit. The suit.
Go
is like
on.
Yeah, the suit is mind control. Yeah, no, I get it.
And then I heard mind control in my head. And by the way, Jesse, I didn't say those things. Okay, the microchip you put in my brain made me say it. So if I'm being real, you should be the one that's shamed.
I am for both of us, honestly.
You know, I'm not going to let you get away with this one. Throughout this entire show, you've eventually managed to bring it back around to the point. This time around, I think you failed to do that.
No, because Jesse said the suit is authority, right? And I said, if I wear a suit, you would respect my authority, and I would mind control you. And then I said, do you remember that one time Amanda Bynes tweeted about
This is some fucking, like, goddamn Illuminati shit right here. It's like, cheese has
Amanda
7 letters. You know what else has 7 letters?
Somebody asked, why is JonTron on the show? Maybe they have a point.
6 letters?
Yeah, it does. But that's the mystery. I mind controlled you into believing that it had 7 letters for a moment there.
No, you mind controlled everybody but me. I was the only one who questioned it.
I
now
see.
You have to murder me. Yeah.
You understand.
Yeah.
You are the lone gunman.
You know what you're in for when you invite me on this thing.
We do know. We are well aware. I am looking forward to the money this show will make me. Okay, yeah, so back to MLG. Yeah. To me, it makes sense that Activision Blizzard would pick this up. Blizzard has a bunch of esports that are already doing pretty well. Activision has been on and off on Call of Duty as an esport. Has been doing, some years they did it okay, some years they didn't. So I imagine they probably want to push that a bit more. And it makes more sense just to buy an existing property rather than try and set it all up yourself. Because the thing is, Blizzard's tried to do it themselves before, and honestly, they haven't done a great job of it. Like, their BlizzCon stuff is fucking great, but they also contract ESL for a lot of that, too. And a company called Yellow Light as well, for a lot of their Heroes of the Storm. So they want something in-house. Sorry?
Is it for StarCraft or what game?
For what? MLG or...
No, you said that they have their own ESL stuff.
So at BlizzCon, they actually have the finals for all their games. Like, StarCraft's their biggest one, but they also have Hearthstone and now Heroes of the Storm. And also the WoW arena thing that nobody watches.
You know what? You're right. They do have a bunch of competitive games. Though.
Yeah, they do. So
what is Warcraft's? How does that work?
It's WoW Arena, 3v3 arena.
It's the arena mode.
Yeah, it's not nowhere near as popular as it used to be anymore. But yeah, arena PvP and WoW is an esport.
Is it competitive for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gear based or what?
Most people kind of have the same gear by that point at that level.
Oh, okay.
It's like saying
Really, it's run around three people run around for 5 minutes until one of the healers dies, and then it's over. Like that's really what it is.
Yeah, it's not very watchable. That's probably why it never took off.
It's pretty hard to watch unless you know a lot about PvP already.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I cast that game and I cast it terribly and won a fucking $3,000 Dell monitor from the Blizzard for doing it in a contest. So if I was the best and I was that terrible, everyone else must have been awful. So it is very, very hard to watch. You have to know a shitload about that game in order to do it. It's very niche, but it's still people still watch it. But yeah, so I mean, Blizzard actually has a number of esports properties, and Activision does as well. So to me, it makes sense as a buy. Like I think also Blizzard has been strong-armed a little bit too much by its partners lately, and they want the ability to do it themselves, to basically turn around and say, oh, you want this amount of money? Fuck you. You know, we can make it ourselves now. So yeah. I think that's why they did it. I don't think it's a bad acquisition at all. And I think MLG has kind of been treading water for maybe the last year. Not really. They didn't really have a clear plan.
Yeah.
MLG is just in my eyes, it was gone. I never thought it. I haven't seen anything.
To a lot of people, it was because the MLG in kind of 2010, even before that, was known for its big events like MLG Anaheim. You went there to watch usually League of Legends, StarCraft 2, either Halo or COD, and maybe something else. You know, and people showed up and they watched it, and it was great. And I cast a bunch of those. It was cool, but they haven't really been doing as much of that. They have been handling some CSGO stuff, and I know apparently now that Activision has acquired them, they did officially announce they're still going to do that CSGO American Championship thingy that they were doing. So it's going to be weird going forward what they do from there, because obviously CSGO is kind of a competing game. Will they eventually phase out producing that kind of content? Probably. They'll probably just produce Activision Blizzard stuff eventually, but right now, you know, the CSGO Major Championship Columbus, you can buy tickets for that right now. It has a $250,000 prize pool.
For real,
that's
though?
happening.
Those Columbus events, having lived in Columbus, are like, people eat that shit up.
They're good.
They're good. They're good. No hate there.
I've had a lot of fun at MLG Live events. You know, I think they were one of the best companies to make those. I just hope that by being bought by Activision Blizzard, they don't stop doing that. Like, if they just become an in-house production company, I think they're missing the point. Because I think where MLG shines the most is its live content.
That's what people want. People want to go to events, and they want to experience the crowd.
Do. Yeah. I've been to loads of them, obviously mostly on the other side of the casting desk, but I love attending esports events. They're a lot of fun.
They are fun. I remember I went to one of the League of Legends championships. And you got...
Yeah, I brought you into
StarCraft
Red Bull, remember?
Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks again. It was here it was on like 34th Street or something like that.
Yeah, it was. It was in New York. So Red Bull Battlegrounds, New York, I dragged JonTron in under a VIP, and he came and watched esports with me. It was really great.
Yeah, we had ramen. That was a great day.
We did have ramen, yeah. Secret ramen.
That was a great day.
Secret ramen.
Yeah, secret ramen, that's right. Actually, It was the same place that we went... Actually, I'm not sure if... No, I went with... it was for some pre-production thing for some show. Don't worry about it.
But it had nothing to do with mind control, though. So it's
okay.
No mind control.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I think news-wise, there isn't really a great deal. Obviously, it's like kind of calm before the storm of the next whatever the hell's going on. CES is obviously going on right now. There haven't been too many big announcements from that. I know that both the big graphics cards companies are saying, hey, our new shit's going to be amazing, obviously.
Yeah, I have a GTX 980 Ti, which is like a high mid-range graphics. I guess it's like
that's a high-end card.
I guess it's sure, it's one below Titan, sure. And what the fuck, that thing can power a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. At this point, graphics cards are so good that it's like you would never need SLI ever.
I strongly disagree.
Unless you want to play 4K, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, honestly, getting 4K in most games and keeping it at 60 FPS is really hard. Like,
but that's only if you want to play at 4K.
Yeah, honestly, but 4K is the next thing, though. You know, that's what they're pushing towards now. Plus VR. I'm always with the next trend in like futuristic technology, whatever, like future technologies. But I actually think 4K is probably more pain in the ass than it's worth, and VR will right now 4K is. I mean,
maybe one day, it'll be.
Because I mean, that's the same thing people said about 1080p a while ago. You know,
I don't feel that way because 480 to 1080 was such a massive jump, and I just don't see 1080 to 4K being big.
I've seen 4K displays, and I do disagree with that. I think that 4K televisions, the problem with 4K TVs is you sit so far away from them, especially considering a lot of content these days is streamed. It's really hard to kind of justify the 4K. For gaming on a monitor, though.
On a monitor, does it make a big difference?
Yeah, because you're a lot closer to it. So it's all about pixel density.
But I mean, do those pixels really amount to more enjoyment of the game for you?
I mean, to some degree, but I don't find that a priority. I mean, my favorite game of the year was a fucking 30 FPS retro-inspired RPG called Undertale,
No, actually, no, all I'm saying is, like, SLI comes with a lot of problems. I've never really enjoyed it. I've never enjoyed it. The micro stuttering and shit always just makes it unusable to me.
To me, I think the micro stuttering has pretty much been evened out now. The thing about SLI is that you can just turn it off. Like, having 2 graphics cards has no downsides because you can just turn one of them off, like, with 2 clicks. Can
you do that and it goes back to the regular card?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I actually never.
You can do that.
Thought about that.
That might be useful
I tried
for you.
SLI. Well, I just have always bought the best card they had, and at the time, and like switched it to 1080. I mean, not switched it to, just played 1080, and it was. I have a 144 hertz monitor, and I like it.
Yeah, I do too, and that's actually why I play a lot of my stuff at 1080 because I value that higher frame rate more. My monitor's 1440p, which to me is like the nice middle ground right now. But I was playing Rainbow Six Siege actually at 1440p. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's nicer, it's crisper, but if I go down to 1080, I get so many more frames per second.
Yeah.
It just feels better. And it gives me that slight competitive edge, and it feels better to play. I'd rather just play it at a lower res.
I'm a huge believer in VR, and I think it's going to completely destroy 4K because it's lower resolution necessary. Maybe not actually for this, what I'm talking about, but like you can emulate a 4K screen in the VR. And it'll look the same.
What you do need, though, is a high frame rate. That's the interesting thing about VR is that I think you need like 90 FPS as minimum because you go any lower than that, you cause motion sickness because of the head tracking.
The Oculus launch model is 90. I think they want to get up to like 120, 144 area eventually.
That'll be nice.
They will.
But you're going to need a beast of a machine to make that happen.
Yeah, but I think that the technology will be so like prominent that people will just... It always gets there.
It's definitely like the initial VR, especially Oculus and HTC Vive. I think it's going to be power user tech that people are going to go out of their way to buy because people were like, there was a Reddit thread that I think encapsulated this issue very nicely, where someone was like, I just don't really get why people are excited about VR, and people turn around and like said, oh no, like for racing games and simulator games, it's amazing. It's like, yeah, but will people really spend that money? It's like, are you kidding? Have you seen some of the hardcore simulator setups that people go for? They spend thousands and thousands of dollars on that stuff. They'd absolutely spend a bit extra on VR. No doubt.
It cracks me up that you can tell people literal fucking actual fucking virtual fucking reality is available for $500. They're like, I just play it on my computer like the old days. I'm like, what the fuck? How is it not enticing? It's virtual
John, you know
reality.
what's going to change all that?
What?
Porn is what's going to change all that.
It
already has.
That's what I'm saying.
It already has.
The minute
those people are like, oh, I don't see a reason to own one of these, and they're like, but you can get porn on it, they're going to be like, it'll happen. Just wait.
As soon as VR became available, all of the big premium sites started producing VR porn. Like right out of the bat, because they saw it as a way to make money. I mean, and honestly, porn has driven so many technologies in this fucking universe,
That's true.
And it will drive VR too.
Think with their dingle dangles quite often.
That they do.
It just pisses. I mean, I know that in a few years it won't matter, but just people's attitudes toward this stuff cracks me up. It's like, I don't know, what do you fucking want, dude? What do you want? It's space technology that was not even conceivable.
It is
5 years ago.
It's like the people that bitch about Wi-Fi on planes. It's like you are on the internet in the sky. Like this is insane that you can do this. You are. It's nuts that you could do this. Like, oh, but it's slow. It's like, but you couldn't do this like 2 years ago. What the fuck? This is like the cutting edge of what we're capable of doing as a human race, and you're bitching about the speed. It's just, as you said, the same with VR. It's like you're bitching about the price.
Don't say it like that. That's sad. Don't say the cutting edge of what we can do as a race is Wi-Fi in the sky.
It is. At least it was. When that came out, that was literally the best thing that we could do as humanity. That was the highest tech thing that existed at that point.
You all know that, right? We're fucked.
I know.
The void we go.
I know.
Darkness of the void.
The heat death of the universe, so we come right back around to that.
Dude, as Louis C.K. said, why are you complaining? You are literally like a Greek myth right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
you are being catapulted through the air at slightly below the speed of sound. What was it? Watch a movie, take a shit, and then you're home? Yeah.
You are Apollo. Or wait, not Apollo. Well, I guess Apollo too. I meant Hermes. No, Apollo's closer.
Icarus? Is that?
No. He got burned
Kind
down
of-
and went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
You know,
Eventually.
I was gonna say you better not be Icarus. It's like
Yeah, I
Delta,
don't know.
be Icarus. Like no,
Yeah.
our wings are on fire. No.
Yeah, welcome to Icarus Airlines. The newest.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Would anyone ever go on Icarus Airlines?
Yeah. They're just like, give you the name. And
We go high for a while.
did you know JetBlue was originally going to be called Taxi? It's actually a New York based airline. So they operate out of Long Island City, and they were going to paint their airlines yellow completely with the checker like a cab. And the investors were like, if you don't fucking change that shit, we are going to pull out right now. So they had to change it to JetBlue. And actually, they're one of the best airlines, and they have actually fast Wi-Fi nowadays, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not slow anymore.
Yeah, plain Wi-Fi isn't actually that bad anymore, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
Yeah, but the whole VR cost thing is like, look, it will eventually get to the point where VR is consumer grade, but right now, you know, the VR that I have access to right now is that, which is the Gear VR, and in order to use that, I need that, which is the highest fucking end phone that Samsung has. You know, you need. Sorry?
You have the DK2? You have the DK2?
I don't have a DK2, no. I didn't really want
I
to
have that
touch Oculus until like the consumer version was available. But ultimately, the technology will develop, and it will be adopted initially by high-end users with high-end PCs, and eventually the price will come down because the power that we have available per dollar also goes down. You know, we get more power for less money. And that's just, you know, the initial adopters will be power users, and that's fine because that's how technology always works.
I just can't wait until VR is so good that it like, you know, like it just seems seamless. I know it'll happen one day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on board with VR, no doubt.
VR is going to be the best.
It will
I
be
guess
fun.
I gotta get that pre-order. Do you know when the pre-orders open?
Tomorrow.
No, but at what time? Do you know what
No, I
time?
have no idea. All I know is the website will probably crash. So
Do you think they'll be sold out in the first day?
they claimed that they won't be,
Okay.
but I don't know about that.
I'm definitely gonna. Where are you? Is it a shipment? They'll ship it to you? Or are you gonna go
think
to
so.
Best Buy? Or?
I think they'll just ship it directly from the website. So
Are they selling to Best Buy and stuff like this, wholesale or?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because, I mean, like, Oculus, at least the initial Oculus, is going to be pretty fucking expensive, and I don't know if they would bother stocking it. I mean, I know they stock Gear VR, I think, at Best Buy, but...
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's only like, it's going to be like $500?
They were looking at 500, I think, yeah.
Oh, do we know the price?
We don't know the price, no. There's no price out
What the
yet.
hell?
People are assuming it's going to be about $500, $600.
I would guess 500. I mean, but they kept saying like it's going to be expensive, and I'm like, it's not that expensive for what it is.
Relatively speaking, I mean, my monitor is $800. So it's like,
Yeah,
you're telling me VR's only $6? Okay.
I mean, if it's like 3,000, I'll be like, okay, it's expensive. But like 500 is like, come on, it's space technology.
It is space technology. Yeah, exactly.
They fucking subsidize the cost because of Facebook's buyout. They said themselves.
And yet
Because
these people are happy to spend fucking $3,000 on a 70-inch fucking 1080p television.
Yeah, I would buy that thing even if it were $10,000, and I hope they don't know that.
No idea.
Yeah,
Not a clue.
it's gonna be so amazing.
Yeah, I'm digging
vibes
digging
too.
VR so far. We'll see. See what it does to games. You know, some games are going to need to be adapted in a real way to use VR properly, and others just work. You know, anything that you're in a cockpit for works really well out of the box. And then there was some that's weird. Like I've played some VR games that are in third person, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like
No, I love it. It's cool. It's like you're playing with a toy almost.
kinda, but to me, I'm like for VR, I'm looking for the immersion, and I don't get it if I'm in third person because I'm like I am obviously disconnected from what's going on the screen.
I see what you mean, but I like it. I think it's like playing with like a little toy, and you can see everything like easier. Also, like Mario Galaxy, but he's so good in VR. But what was I gonna say? I was going to say something, but I forget. Old Russian brain, he forgets. Fuck! It was. Eve Valkyrie is coming with it. I can't wait to play that.
I mean, I love space shooters, so to me, the fact that that's the first thing they're shipping is like, yup, I'm all in.
Oh yeah, did you play Elite Dangerous on it?
No, but I have friends that have, and they told me it's awesome.
I played it on the DK2, and I was absolutely mind blown. The technology's not like the dev kit 2 wasn't ready yet, and it's just not ready. But like, oh my fucking god, when that becomes a real application to a real game, goodbye real life. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy what they've accomplished with it. I just can't wait.
Yep. It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
interesting.
Sword Art Online soon, guys. We're all gonna
No.
get trapped in games.
I hope
Dude,
not.
Just
Hope it's more Log Horizon.
Yeah,
Sword
I
Art.
mean, you'd want it to be Log Horizon TV, but
Yeah.
then you'd get trapped in there and be like,
And it would be
fuck,
Sword Art.
it's
Shit.
actually Sword Art.
God
Yeah.
damn it. Not Sword Art. Anything with Sword Art.
Fuck.
sort of.
How come there's so many people who look underage?
Yeah, it's
Why
like,
am I here?
"Ugh,
Why am I
creepy as
trapped
shit.
here?
Fucking animes. Yeah, I don't think there's really much else news-wise that's been happening. It's been relatively quiet, obviously. We expect new releases coming up, and there are some things coming out this month that are looking really good. I'm not going to lie, I'm very much looking forward to XCOM 2, which is coming out this month.
We
Does
have
that
a
come
new
out this
release
month?
list.
We
Yeah, can we
do.
get the list?
We absolutely do. I don't know if
Slap
there's
it to me.
I don't know if there's much coming out this week, but there's definitely some stuff coming out this month. Let me just get you this. Where the hell is my list? Here.
Stop it, stop it, and roll. Let's do this.
There it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. I will give you the list. I don't know if it's that exciting, but there you go.
Holy.
Oh my.
JonTron hasn't turned off his Skype
In
notifications.
surround sound.
Listen, y'all don't even know me.
Yeah, XCOM actually might be early Feb. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's do this new release list. Today is January 5th, 2016. Happy New Year, everyone.
Current, yeah.
Don't talk to me like that.
We've got Nebula Online coming out today.
I know
It's about space. Is it a space game?
I have a feeling you might be right. It is. God, I haven't muted that. That's silly. In fact, hang on a minute. I think Steam just did a change that made sound happen now on videos by default. I don't like you. Okay, anyway, yeah. Cross-platform, massively multiplayer game. No! Stop fucking making noise. What the shit? Valve!
Nope, too late.
What the hell have you done? I'm mad now.
I'm mad too. Can I be mad? Just
Yeah, you can. You can be mad with
everybody
me.
Yeah.
be mad.
It never used to do this. What the fuck did they do to Steam?
What happened?
That Steam makes noise now when you go to a fucking Steam page and it auto plays a video. It never used to do that.
Really?
Why did they do this?
I'll have to go tweet about that later.
That's awful. All right, next.
Crazy Belts.
Oh,
It's a
this
game-
one. This.
What is it, John?
There's you could get the buckle kind, there's a tie kind and a purple one, notched belts, and I just think they are just honestly out of
You
this
asshole.
Dick.
out of this world. I'm sorry, I'm so hungry.
Out of this world.
I'm just
It's a puzzle game
Okay.
involving
Mine was
conveyor
better.
belts. Next.
Okay,
my
great.
explanation was way better.
Callie's Caves 3.
Run and gun platformer, yo. Where you play as Callie and you run through caves.
All right.
Great. The next
Three.
game is called Contract.
Oh, that sounds thrilling. It is $4, and it is a side-scrolling shooter.
Cool. Next one is called Dungeons Are Random.
It's a randomly generated dungeon game.
And it's
Perfect.
on sale right now, apparently.
Yeah, it's procedurally generated nonsense. That apparently not a lot of people like so far. Next,
The next one sounds like Dodger Bait. It's called
yeah.
Wild Cat Girl Appears.
a wild
on
cat
now.
girl appears.
Hold on now.
It is a short
definitely
visual
is.
romance novel involving cat girls.
Yeah.
It has my trope of 3 boob sizes in it. Perfect.
Every game does.
That's a lot of large boobs actually involved in that game. Yeah.
Next one is
Can I-
called... Yes?
Can I do
Yes,
Chowder
ma'am.
Chew?
Sure. What's Chowder Chew about?
Okay, let me just look it up here for a second.
You didn't know?
Okay, no, I just read
He
the
got it.
prompt.
He got it. TB, he got
I'm
it.
He got
reading the
it. He's
prompt.
got
All
it.
right.
He's got it.
The date is December 7th, 1941. It's a quiet morning on Pearl Harbor. Planes in the distance. This is kind of fucked up, don't you think?
Are you sure this is the same game? Are you doing
That
this
was
on purpose?
That was a prank, but it didn't land very well.
Fucking dick.
Please!
It's called
To
Chowder
the
Chew.
harbor! To the harbor! They screamed. I think this is kind of.
Now I
fucked
know
up.
why it's a year and a half between visits with you. Texas, not let's forget your bullshit.
I love your fucking death silence, just like fucking staring me down. I was trying to go for a bit of a fucking what's his name? Norm Macdonald, but I didn't fucking nail it. He does that shit so well. All right. What's Chowder Chew? Let me read it for real.
No, actually, let's just move on. No,
Yeah,
let's
because it's
not
shit.
even.
It looks awful. Don't even.
Great. All right, next
What
is
the
called
hell is that,
Walk
real?
the Light.
It's a puzzle game involving a mysterious light source. You walk.
Great.
Shit.
Next
You
is called
walk the light.
Amplitude.
Ooh, Amplitude. That's the re-release of Amplitude on PS4. That's worth playing. That's a cool rhythm game.
Cool. Tomorrow, January 6th, we've got Age of Steel Recharge.
2D strategy with a view from the side. It literally looks like a Newgrounds game. You know those kind of Newgrounds tug-of-war strategy games where you just build shit?
Yep.
It's that.
Great.
Except they expect money for it. Next.
Next game is called Squirbs. Squirbs. Squirbs.
Challenging puzzle platformer. Looks like... Ugh. Next.
January 7th, we've got Fairy Tale Mysteries, The Puppet Thief.
I'm gonna put money down that this is a hidden object game without even looking at it.
I hope so.
It's a
It
hidden object
definitely
game.
is.
I
It
can
definitely
tell.
is.
I have a spider sense for these things now.
I'm still
Yeah.
getting a Pearl Harbor vibe from that one.
Next.
Next is called Bigley's Revenge for Wii U.
Bigley's Revenge Wii U game. That's rare. It is. What the? No. From the talented studio that bought you Meme Run. Fuck off. Next.
Uh-oh. January 8th, we've got Futuridium EP Deluxe.
Futuridium.
What the hell is this?
Ew. It's a psychedelic, retro-inspired shoot-'em-up with a modern twist. It's got a really cool look to it, actually. Puzzle elements, vibrant, low-poly aesthetic, heart-pumping electronic soundtrack. This actually looks pretty cool.
Cool. Next one is called Windlands.
Windlands. It is... In early access, it is a first-person grappling hook exploration game.
Alrighty. Next game is called Chiptune Champion. I'm going to assume it is a music rhythm game.
One would think
It
so.
absolutely is. Where you play your keyboard like a guitar.
Great.
Cool.
And then January 9th, we've got Specoino Back to the USSR 2.0.
Holy shit. This might be the best title I've ever seen. What
Back
the
to
fuck
the
is this
USSR 2.0.
2.0.
2.0.
It appears to be
What?
it's a Russian visual novel, quite literally.
My
perfect.
goodness.
That's it, right?
The
I
end.
mean, it is.
Until
next
week.
That's it.
Yeah. Just
Oh, you do it by a week. Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
I was
That's
gonna be
pretty
like,
much.
damn, it's a freaking long list to go through.
Yeah, we're not going through all
No.
that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the week. So it's not a lot. So good excuse to go play Warframe and use my referral link because I want free shit. But I'll tell you what just came out. A game called What's Under Your Blanket for 89 cents. What is this game? It's about a guy who gets into an awkward situation in a not suitable moment and tries to overcome it. This is a game about wanking.
Great.
Wait, what? Wait,
Real?
what?
This is
It's
a
a
game
wanking
about
game.
masturbation. This
Wait,
is
whoa,
on
what?
Steam right now.
Awesome.
What is Under Your Blanket? Even we, the developers of the game, have
dick.
differing opinions.
Or maybe a vagina. I
Even
don't
we,
know.
the developers
Maybe
it could
neither,
be.
or maybe both.
even we agree this shouldn't be on Steam.
Why is this on Steam? How the fuck did it get through Steam?
Hold the
89
phone. What?
89 cents is a cheap price for a wank, if I'm being fair.
When do you pay for your wanks? What the hell happened?
What, you don't have a mom that charges you for your wanks?
You are an odd person.
You don't have a mom that puts your wanks behind a pay toll? You fucking weirdo.
Yep, this got green light
That's where we're in. That's
Yeah,
where
this-
we're just
this is
right
a-
there. End it.
The
End
end,
by
the
Russians.
end, the end.
Greenlit by 1,000 Russians. Thank you, Greenlight. You are a great system. Please burn in hell.
We should just end the podcast. Right.
I agree. I thoroughly
Shut
agree.
it down.
Let's do
Shut
that.
it
I'm gonna
down.
press the end button and we're gonna leave, and nobody
Perfect.
will have to worry about anything
Bye.
anymore.
Bye,
This
everyone.
is the end of the show. The end of the
great.
show.